And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the Britain Sports Network. I'm Jim Funderburg along with Jim Bellamy here on the final Saturday afternoon, senior day here, Jim, in Albion. Kind of a chilly day. It feels an awful lot like winter's right around the corner for us, bud.
Yep, as we get into this time of the year, fall usually does not exist at this point. You're pretty much just waiting for the first snowfall. We ran into some flurries on the way up to Holland last weekend. Nothing obviously that accumulated, but it's definitely getting colder. It's kind of the right time of the year to end the football season for an Albion Britons team that had a little bit of improvement from last year, 3-6 so far in the season. And if records mean anything, they look like they should be the favorite today to go to a 4-6 record overall. But you certainly can't overlook Kalamazoo with only one win on the season.
Kalamazoo does come in here as basically the cellar dweller, and that would make it an ideal situation for them to come in on senior day and be able to steal that last win of the year. They got their first win last week of the season, Jimmy, and it was a hard-fought battle against Rockford, but a win is a win is a win.
Yep, it was a tough 13-6 win. They held a 6-0 lead at halftime, and in fact held Rockford scoreless till the fourth quarter. They got a couple of field goals early in the first quarter, and then had to hold on for a 13-6 victory. They ended up getting an interception in the end zone to seal the deal late in the fourth quarter. Rockford was driving to try to tie the game. That was Kalamazoo's first win to give them a 1-8 record. Rockford, with the loss, fell to 1-7 on the season. So, both those teams having difficult seasons, and it was one of those, I guess you'd call it resistible force versus movable object kind of games. But, again, hard-fought game. Kalamazoo comes out with a road victory after a long trip over to Rockford, Illinois, 13-6.
And we had a tough time at Hope last week too, over in Holland. What an afternoon for the Britons! One of those rainy, nasty fall afternoons. I don't think anybody likes to have to go out and play on a day like that. It was cold, it was wet. It wasn't as bad as Olivet a couple weeks before that, but I think the worst part of it was that Hope offense. And man, did they run the football last week!
Yeah, 48 passing yards, but 460 rushing yards, and a dominating time of possession difference, 35 and change to just under 25. So a lot of players on Albion racked up significant tackle totals on defense. But that's not the statistic you really want to lead the game on. If you're getting a whole bunch of tackles, it means you're having to play a whole bunch of defense. And with a 48-10 lopsided loss at Holland last weekend, that was definitely the case. Again, 460 yards on the ground for Hope, and then you flip the script back to the Kalamazoo-Rockford game, and something that makes you a little nervous. Kalamazoo racked up 277 rushing yards, and they held the slight time of possession advantage, holding it just over 31 minutes for that game. So you look at those two things combined, I don't think that Kalamazoo is going to get close to 500 yards on the ground today, but they did show the ability to run the ball last week. And it's something that, every team is going to try to take advantage of against the Brits.
There's no doubt we have shown, as I was going to say, a problem trying to slow people down today. If it's going to happen, more than likely, number 30, Jared Pittman, is the young guy that's going to be able to pull that off. Number 10 in the MIAA in rushing, coming into the ball game here today. 109 carries for 536 yards, about 60 yards per game, 6 touchdowns. A couple of fumbles that he's lost. He's dropped a couple more. He's fumbled 4 times, actually lost 2 of them. And he does have a long run this year of 67 yards. Last week, Jim, it's, to your point, he rushed the ball 27 times for 170 yards and had a long of 21. So if the running game is going to click here this afternoon for Kalamazoo, more than likely number 30, Jared Pittman, is the young fellow that's going to make it go today.
Yep, Jared Pittman, don't fall asleep on C.J. Foster, who backs him up. He's played all 9 games as well, gets about 17 yards a game, so not a whole lot. But, again, you're looking at the runner we saw last week, Jim. We figured one running back would end up being the dominant force, and then the other running back comes in, scores 3 touchdowns, right? 2 on the ground, 1 through the air. So, don't fall asleep on a guy like C.J. Foster. Alex White, as we've seen with a lot of teams in the MIAA, the quarterback also gets some decent yards on the ground, has 148 net rushing yards. But again, a lot of that is from quarterback sacks because his gross yardage gain is 353. So, he's losing 205 yards, I would assume, to, losses, sacks, things like that. But through the air, He is 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 872 yards passing on the season. So he gets about 100 yards a game through the air and just over 16 yards on the ground.
For the Britons here this afternoon, obviously the entire thing rolls around number 2, the freshman quarterback Kyle Thomas, number 2 in the conference right now as a passer. And, you know, Jim, I think because of the record not being what you'd like for it to be this year, even with the improvement, I think oftentimes you may look at something like this and look at a guy like Kyle Thomas and say to yourself, well, you know, is the freshman having much of a year? He's having a pretty good year for a freshman, and I think there's a lot of promise in his future.
I agree. I think that he can cut down on some of the freshman mistakes he's making, and we've seen that the last couple games where earlier in the season when he would scramble, he would still try to force it into a spot where maybe he'd have a couple of defenders end up throwing an interception, or if he was trying to throw it out of bounds, he wouldn't throw it far enough, and a couple of those passes early in the season got intercepted. However, when you get into later in the season, it becomes more about protecting the ball. The weather's going to get worse. You're going to get more rain. You know, thankfully we haven't had a snow game, and we're not going to get one this season. But those are the kind of things that he can build on. Now, what the team as a whole needs to build on, because it isn't just 1 against 11 out there on the field, you're going to need more protection and more time from the offensive line to allow him to go through his progressions. You're going to need to keep him in the game as they have the last few weeks, and you and I talked about how important that is. He has to start building more chemistry with his receivers and his tight ends and the backs out of the field, but the running backs have to pick him up. You're going to need more production out of Zarnecki and Poor. You're going to need, again, more protection from the offensive line and also opening up more holes on the ground. It's amazing how much easier your job is as a quarterback when you have a good running game. You don't feel all the pressure on you, and as a freshman, things are tough enough.
They sure are.
And if the team is leaning on you to make everything happen, as a freshman, that generally does not work as well. So, you know, he'll have a year under his belt, and it's good to learn under adversity. And a good running game and I think a little bit more out of the offensive line should really help him into that sophomore year.
Well, it is senior year at Albion, or senior weekend here at Albion, as we will say goodbye to a number of folks who have been playing football here for the Britons for the last 4 years, and somebody that can give us a little bit of an insight into what goes through the mind of a senior in college, even though he's not a senior quite yet, will be the coldest guy today in our broadcast team, John Bilello, who will be on the sideline with us again today. And John, you know, it is emotional to say goodbye to some teammates at this last week of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always a tough one, especially, you know, playing lacrosse. You know, we travel somewhere for a playoff game. This is the last time we see some of these guys. You know, maybe we have a banquet, but, you know, these guys, they are literally playing their last game there. Every time I see them play, they do play their hearts out, and they do it for the younger guys.
And I would expect today that we would see that kind of an effort, even though we don't have a number of seniors. We do have some seniors in some key roles today, especially on that defensive front. We've got some running backs, a wide receiver, a couple of defensive backs. I think these guys will probably give it their best effort of the season today, wouldn't you bet?
Yeah, I would say so. I think, you know, it's been kind of rebuilding for 2 years here, but they definitely want to win the last 3 of these 4 games, especially some conference games, you know, to put this program and step in the right direction.
John, you play in this little gully that this is the athletic complex here at Albion over in the lacrosse field. Today is going to be one of those cold days with the wind blowing across it. How cold and how nasty is it going to be down on the football field today?
You know, it's actually not as bad as you think with the sun out and little wind. I mean, definitely gonna be chilly. Those tackles are they're gonna sting a little bit more, but all in all, actually not that bad. Not as bad as it could be.
Not as bad as it could be. Where do we stand as far as the educational side of this whole thing? When are finals? We have finals before you get home for Christmas at all, and Thanksgiving?
Yeah, finals will be about the first week of December. So right now it's kind of starting to review, and then we got Thanksgiving break, and then come back and all those exams and finals and projects all piled into 1 week.
It's always fun when you're doing something like that. John Bilello will be on our sideline this afternoon for us, as he always is, being able to give us a good sideline view of things that are going on here at the stadium this afternoon. Around the conference today, Jimmy, really it's going to be an interesting Saturday afternoon, but it really is no suspense left. Trine basically has wrapped everything up this year, and they will be playing Olivet. Olivet goes to Trine. Alma goes to Adrian. And Hope doesn't even play in conference this afternoon. They're over at Concordia, Wisconsin.
Yep, and Trine, I think back to that game again, Jim, where Trine hadn't really played um, any opponent of significance. At least it looked like it on the schedule. So I still remember back to the game where we were kind of questioning, how legit, how tough that team really was. And boy, did they answer, and they answered emphatically. And they've run the table in very impressive fashion. And, hats off to the Thunder. They've played an excellent season, have an excellent ball club, and are going to make life tough for all the other MIAA teams.
Trying at 9-0 in the season, 5-0 in the conference right now as they have wrapped up the conference championship. Hope at 5-1 and 7-2. Then it's Olivet at 3-1 and 5-4. Adrian 3-2 and 4-5. Alma at 1-4 and 4-5, along with Albion 1-4 and 3-6, and Kalamazoo at the bottom at 1-8 and 0-5. We do have the British Eights entertaining here for you, as you can see on your screen right now. We're going to pick up their entire halftime show, but right now, let's head down to the field for the national anthem from the British Eights.
Plays our national anthem.
And as we said, we'll pick up the British Eights here at halftime today. So if you're a British Eights fan, we will pick up their entire performance for you here this Saturday afternoon. We also have Jim coming up, interviews with both the head men's and women's basketball coach, previewing the season, which is about ready to get started as well at halftime today. And I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun to hear what both Coach Day and Carden think of their squads and where they're going to go this year when the season starts up here in just a week.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that basketball season is here, and I know the players have already been practicing, scrimmaging. The games are going to be starting, and then, before you know it, it'll be conference time. And we look forward to possibly bringing you some men's and women's hoop action this winter. So stay tuned to the Britain Sports Network and Albion.edu for more information. And also want to remind you folks watching today, wherever you are around the country or around the world, drop us a line at webcast@albion.edu. Let us know where you are. If you are a graduate, let us know what year you graduated. And also, if you are maybe a family member or rooting for a particular player, let us know. And that same courtesy extends to the road team as well. We often get a lot of really nice email dialogue going with fans and family from the visiting schools as well. So we'd certainly love to hear from you. I'd love to give you a shout out. Webcast@albion.edu.
And this is your last opportunity if you've been sitting around all summer and all fall long and waiting for this to happen. And should I text Jim and Jim? Shouldn't I email Jim and Jim? Should I email Jim and Jim? Should I email Jim? Go ahead and do it, man. Jimmy's a friendly kind of fella, and we appreciate every comment that you might send our way. Decent crowd here today for a chilly Saturday afternoon, especially on the home side. Senior Day has brought out the crowd. On the visitors' side, Kalamazoo not quite as solid, as they have a situation going right now where the stand's very much empty on that side. But again, you have a football team that has only one win on the year, has really no place to go. So what's sitting across there right now, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa in a lot of cases, Jim, and the ones that are a long distance away or really don't like the cold probably are sitting home watching us today on the webcast.
Well, if you are at home watching us today, A, I don't blame you because it is a little chilly outside. And B, certainly want to welcome you to the webcast, you'll find if this is your first time, especially if you're Kalamazoo family or a friend of the team, you'll find that we have a lot of fun with the broadcasts. We give both teams their due, and we try to just take everybody inside the game a little bit and let everybody have a little fun. It's all about the student athletes out there in the field, and we'll give you a good call today, and hopefully it'll be a great game for you to watch.
Now I'm ready to decide who's going to get the football to open up this afternoon. But before we get to that, Jim, let's talk a little bit about this defense for the Britons, because they've played extremely well at times, and then they've also been susceptible, especially to the run this year. That's the sign that's going to be the most damaged by graduation this year. When you take a look at it, you go down the list. Jordan Carter is a senior this year. You also have a senior in Jose Rodriguez, who has basically been one of the best tacklers in the history of Albion College and came back for his fifth-year senior season this year. Hunter Shaw will be graduating this year. Nick Davenport graduates this year. Dallas Reynolds graduates this year, and Austin Lynn. So you're going to lose an awful lot on that front seven this year, Jim, and they're going to have to find a way to be able to fill in some of the younger guys. There are juniors on this team. There are freshmen and sophomore waiting their turn at this point in time. But you are going to say goodbye to more senior players on the defensive side of the Britons football team.
Yep, you're going to be leaning next year, and you're going to hear his name called a lot today, number 94, Sean Kubit-Miller, who's a junior defensive tackle. He is one of the heart and soul players in the front middle of that line. However, he's going to be lining up next to some new faces on the field come next season. And again, it's going to be a learning opportunity for those younger players. The front four and the linebackers for the Brits have definitely given up a significant number of big plays on the ground. And interestingly enough, even though they have a good middle of the line, they've been burned by a lot of up-the-gut runs.
Yeah.
And so they're going to need to really stiffen up both the D tackles as well as the linebackers. They're really going to play tough and run support.
Has won the toss. They elect to defer. Kick in this direction.
And there you go. You hear the decision by the official from the football field. Kalamazoo wins the coin toss today. They defer to the second half, and they will kick to the Britons, so the Britons offense will basically be going on to the football field. As we talk about the defense, we'll actually see the offense. And when you go down through that lineup, and especially in the starters, Doug Freeman, who has gotten quite a bit of time as a running back this year, one of the more predominant senior names that you're going to see that you'll be losing. Tyler Sykes, who had seems like he has a decent game every time he gets an opportunity to play quite a bit. And also Kyle Winchell, the senior from Homer, Michigan, all of them playing their last game here this afternoon for the Britons, and they will start off with the opportunity to play with the football as we open the ball game here in about 2 minutes.
And Jim, if you look at defensively for Kalamazoo, you're going to hear these three names probably called most often today. Clay Wilkie, number 9, 101 tackles on the season, including 8 for loss. Jacob Frederick, 98 tackles, including 6 tackles for loss. And Quentin Sweeney, 73 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. The other player that really gets after it in the backfield, Ryan Andrews, number 92, 3 sacks on the season to go along with those 5 total tackles for loss. So, those 3 players, though, Wilkie, Frederick, and Sweeney, are the ones, statistically speaking, through the year who have made the most impact. Really, the drop-off is significant from that point, though, because you go from Sweeney with 73 tackles on the season all the way down to Cody Howrigan, 38 tackles on the season. So there's a huge drop-off between those 3 players and what the rest of the defense is giving you. But it shows how important it is to game plan, maybe go away from those players and see what we can do with forcing the other players to step up.
One of the names that we've left off the starting lineup for the offensive side, left guard Travis Myrick, the only senior down lineman for the Britons this year, to go along with the other names that we've already told you a little bit about. A bit hoarse here today, so if you notice that there's a little a little bit of a raspiness to the voice. We've been fighting some of the colds that other people have had, so we will fight through it. But we're expecting to have a good ball game here this afternoon, and we're looking forward to bringing it to you here on the Brit Sports Network.
Well, you've been fighting it, and you better not give it to me.
And basically, Samantha Murphy.
Yes. That's what it said on her shirt.
That's what it said on her shirt. Has really been the sick one here this week, so we really have been staying away from her entirely.
Yeah, I'm doomed. I'm sorry, Amy. I'm doomed. I'm riding with two sickies all the way here
You're
and all the way back.
right between the two of us. The opening kick takes Robinson all the way back to the goal line. He'll look for a block in the middle of the
He's
football
got some
field.
room, but we have
Here
a
he
flag.
comes up the home sideline to the 30, 35, on his feet at the 40, and down at the 45-yard line. But you're right, Jimmy. Flag all the way back at the 10.
Yep, and that's the worst thing you can see because you saw the lane open up to his left on the return. A nice alley, but when that flag is dropped and the official's pointing back that way, you're going to get a half the distance penalty and probably the start at the 5.
Illegal blocking back. Receiving team number 15. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
And you can hear a little bit of that wind today in the microphone from the official on the football field. It will be a bit of a windy Saturday afternoon, kind of gusting, coming from basically one end zone, which is the end zone that the Britons are heading towards right now, and then kind of coming back towards you somewhat, but then angling to the sideline a little bit. So it does swirl. It is kind of windy. Probably a 10, 15 mile an hour wind that they're going to have to play with here this afternoon. But for the last football game of the season, not all that bad of an afternoon to play.
Starting quarterback
Yep,
Jimbo.
We're going to go for a Sam Blanzy look here to open everything up here for the Britons this afternoon. As Blanzy will open up at quarterback. And he will throw to Koski, and the initial pass of the afternoon will be incomplete at about the 30-yard line.
Underthrown on purpose right there. I think that was a back shoulder throw. And he leapt for the ball instead of just coming to a stop. The defender, I think, would have gone right past it. Made that attempted catch a little more difficult than it had to be, and it falls incomplete.
So Blanzy again at the pistol. He has Freeman to his left as we get things going here this afternoon, and they will turn and hand the ball to Freeman. He has a nice opening right up the middle of the football field. He'll be close to that first down marker as he gets out to the 14-yard line. Set it up third down and short now for the Brits as they come to the line of scrimmage immediately.
What do you make of the Blanzy swap at quarterback, Jim?
Good question. Bobby said nothing about that here this afternoon, and you do just kind of wonder. Last game, it doesn't really matter that much, so maybe you're starting to set up a competition for next year. Blanzy throws this one out to the flats, and he's got his man. It's complete to Colby Canfield. And you want to talk about maybe one of the bright spots of the season this year for the Britons. Colby Canfield, just a freshman, Jim, and he has worked his way on at 6'1" and 200 pounds out of.
Was that Canfield or was that Blanzy? I think
That
that might have been Blanzy to Blanzy.
No, I think it was Canfield who's still up there on the top. But
okay, I thought it was 87 coming off. I saw 87 coming off. I thought
87
maybe
and 81 are two numbers that always catch me, especially on the other side of the field. But I believe that's where that one went. Straight up the middle again, we come with Doug Freeman, and Freeman on first down will pick up about half of what he needs as he get about 6 on the opening carry, set up a second down and 4.
And Clay Wilkie, number 9, that player we talked about, the senior linebacker from Kalamazoo on the tackle, coming up from that middle linebacker spot right there, but not before he gets a nice gain on first down.
Koski and Blanzy are the two receivers here on the home side that you're seeing. Single receiver to the top. And they'll turn again and hand to Freeman, and Freeman is going to try to grind his way towards that first down stick. He'll be across the 30, and he will be very close. In fact, they're already moving the chains. They'll get plenty for the first down. It'll be first down and 10 Britons.
One of the other names I called just before the game started, number 35, Quentin Sweeney on the stop right there. The linebackers are not afraid to show run support right there. You saw Sweeney kind of playing a safety look. Cheated up to the line of scrimmage to show run support and ended up making the tackle there. He's doing it again.
Brad Swindeman now in at the slot position, but they'll go back to the running game again. And Freeman will leap his way to the 35-yard line, give him a couple on first down. But Swindeman, number 25, now lined up in the slot.
And that was Jacob Frederick, 31, another linebacker on the tackle. You saw him kind of submarine there, go low, and that's what tripped him up.
Blanzy drops. Now he's going to roll towards the home sideline, throw this thing down the field. He's got his guy, but Koski can't make the catch last all the way to the ground.
Good diving effort right there. Kind of ended up going on the right shoulder and then falling incomplete as he hit the sideline on the Britain side. Bring up a 3rd and 7 with 12:30 to play in the first quarter.
It would be interesting to talk to the coach a little bit about why Sam Blanzy is playing quarterback this afternoon, Jim. But
Well, we have a sideline guy. John, why don't you just go ask the coach right
we'll see if John can't dig that out of somebody while he's down there on the sideline.
I'll just go right down and ask coach. he won't mind.
2 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Freeman again in the backfield. Blanzy in the pistol, looks, throws. Koski, he's got this one at the 47-yard line.
Yep.
So enough for the first down. And so far, the chemistry has been extremely good between Sam Blanzy and his receivers.
Deshaun Moore, number 28, playing very soft coverage right there. And good recognition by Blanzy to throw that one. Nice bullet pass. And he got plenty to get the first down there before the corner even got up.
Blanzy fakes, throws to Koski there in the flat, and he'll be into Hornets territory with the pickup of about 6 on that first catch.
Moore once again in coverage. You see he's playing, Jim, I'd say a good 7 to 10 yards off him. 31 Jacob Frederick had to come over on the stop. He's playing a support role. So the corner, now he's playing a little bit more bump coverage. But the last 2 completions, he's playing at least 7 to 10 yards off.
Blanzy fakes and then goes on the go route to Martin down the sideline. He's got it, but he's out of bounds.
Yep. And that's the chess game that you always like to watch in football. 2 consecutive plays. Again, calling number 28, Deshaun Moore's name for Kalamazoo, playing too soft at coverage. They get burned by the quick outs. Finally, he plays press, and they go over the top. So, you know, that's the fascinating chess match that is football. And now, you see about 6, 7 yards off.
3rd down now and about 4 for the Britons. 11:59 to play opening quarter, and Blanzy's not even going to fake this time. He'll hit Koski for the easy first down catch down at the 42-yard line. Needed about 4, got 5, moved the chains, and the Brits now with 4 first downs on this opening drive and make it 5.
What did John Madden always say? Keep running it till they stop you, right?
That's exactly what they want to do, and that's
So
exactly what they're
the
doing.
quick out, and again, you see the coverage. If he's not going to come up and play, I think you're going to see another 4-yard out.
Freeman again in the backfield. They'll send triples to the top this time, and they'll hand the ball. Nope, fake to Freeman and throw back to Koski. And oh boy, nice fake, nice throw. Koski just not able to pull that one in.
And that's a case where I think Koski might have peeked up a little bit to see if there was a safety coming at him, and there wasn't right there. And that's one where if you're worried about that, you just complete that catch and you go to the ground before you take the strong pop over the middle.
So the incompletion sets up a 2nd down now and 7 for the Britons, who have had the ball since the opening kick.
See a blitz.
Blanzy throws the opposite way there. Now he's got his brother with him. Inside the 30, down inside the 25.
Missed
Goes
tackle.
Brian Blanzy.
Quentin Sweeney, 35 right there. Took the wrong angle to try to make that tackle and ended up whiffing. And Blanzy was able to curl and then get up the field for a nice gain and a first down.
You know, we had that nice conversation over at Olivet with a young fellow who played high school ball against the Blanzys back in his high school days.
Yep.
Fun to catch up with people who know people who know people who know people. This is Koski in the end zone. He's got the football, but he's out of bounds.
2nd time where he has caught it, but just out of bounds. And, you know, as a quarterback, you love the placement of that ball. You know, just a foot, if that, farther inside, and that's a touchdown.
You know, Sam Blanzy, a junior this year, and obviously Thomas, a freshman. So the Blanzy brothers for next year will be seniors. So maybe you're setting up a little bit of a mind game going between these 2 guys and some competition for the offseason that's coming up here in a week. Toss out to Swindeman, and Swindeman had that grass monster trip him here in the backfield for a loss of about 4.
That dreaded 12th man for Kalamazoo.
That darn turf every now and then can just be a little bit nasty to have to deal with. We're going to head down to talk to John Bilello here in just a minute on the sideline, as he has probably already talked to the coach and figured out why we changed quarterbacks. But we'll get to John here in just a minute. How's that?
Oh, I have no doubt John already has the answer.
3rd down and 13 now for the Britons.
John Schefter down there.
10:42 to play opening quarter. Blanzy throws. He's got his guy. This one's complete. Close to the 15-yard line, make it the 16-yard line. Colby Canfield trying to work out of a tackle, but the big fella couldn't quite get to the sticks. And it'll be 4th down now and a couple, and they're going to send the field goal team out on the football field. Let's head down to John real quick. John, the afternoon is kind of windy, kind of chilly. Is that going to affect the game this afternoon?
No, I don't think so. These guys are used to practicing in cold weather. Visibility's fine, sun's out, a little windy, but not too bad. They'll be all right.
From the hash mark on the 22-yard line, Fabry will try this one. 10:02 to play, and the Britons trying to at least put a score on the board in that first drive, and I think he has just enough to get it through the uprights and on the other side, and just like that, the Brits go up 3-0 after a very nice opening drive, Jim.
Nice drive. Started at the 5-yard line because of that block in the back penalty, and they worked it down into field goal range. I was curious for a moment there to see if they might try to talk the coach into going for it on 4th down, but ultimately I think that was the right call. As much as you did to get in scoring position right there, to potentially come up empty on a drive where you know you could have got 3, that would have been tough. So the Brits take the safe route, put the 3 points on the board, and now they'll try to come out and play some tough defense against the Kalamazoo team that I don't doubt is going to try to run the ball on them.
16 plays, 79 yards. It ends up in a Fabry field goal from 32 yards out, and the Britons go up on top now, 3-0 for Fabry this year. That is now 10 for 13 on the season, so a really good afternoon or a good season for a field goal kicker who we've watched now come in as a freshman, went through those freshman jitteries and yips a little bit a couple of years ago, and now hard to believe, but next year he'll be a senior as well, Jim.
Yep, reliable kicker now. You don't question when he's out there what's going to happen.
This ball comes short and is picked up at about the 22-yard line, out across the 25 to the 27-yard line.
So good field position, but not much of a return because of the short kick there. Returner really kind of risking things by letting that one bounce, and it took its good sweet time to get up to him, but he was able to make a few players miss, cut it back towards the middle, and get pretty good starting field position for Kalamazoo.
Keegan Reichman, the young fellow that returned that kick. And with that, Alex White will bring his football team out onto the field, and we had to look down again to make sure that number 12 was indeed in there.
Right.
Jared Pittman, the running back we talked about, to his left, and they will hand the football off to Pittman, and it looked like the Britons maybe had jumped off sides trying to come up with that run support blitz.
You probably could have got a couple of different players on that one, but you know when the flag flies and they don't blow the play dead, he's either not unabated the quarterback or it wasn't a false start. So I think Kalamazoo will take the penalty on this one, bring up a 1st and 5.
Offside. Defense number 44. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 1st down.
So there you go. And as you said, Jimmy, several different possibilities there.
Yeah, it's usually when is your official, you just say offsides on the defense.
Yep.
Don't even bother giving a number. There's a pick 'em.
So again, they'll have a 1st down and 5 now for Kalamazoo, and they'll go back to the ground one more time. And a nice handoff to Pittman, who will pick up a couple. And we do have a flag again on the other side of the football field, right in front of the Kalamazoo bench.
I think this is another offsides against the Brits, which will bring up a 1st down. So Kalamazoo appears to have gotten their first down without running an official play.
Offside. Defense number 98. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. The resulting is a 1st down.
So you have to think, Jim, at this point with 2 offsides penalties, you are seeing a more aggressive defensive front today. I think the Brits maybe think they have a mismatch opportunity up the middle to force pressure, but they have to time their jump a little bit better.
1st down now and 10. They've run 2 running plays so far. None have gone for any distance, and this one, the 3rd, will not go anywhere as well. As a nice job by Jake Wickens to be right there. And again, that turf monster takes the feet out from underneath Jared Pittman, but Wickens was about to do the same if he did take it another step.
He also ran into Bo Gotkin, the senior offensive lineman, kind of helped him down to the ground right there. So instead of blocking forward, he kind of tackled his own guy.
No gain, and it'll be 2nd down now and 10. They'll send doubles to the top. Dylan Paget is the guy the farthest up, and they will run this football again. And again, the Britons putting some serious pressure in the middle of that line. Sean Cubitt Miller able to bust the line of scrimmage, Jimmy, and make the tackle.
Yep, and that's a case where he was pancaked down. However, when he got the feet, he didn't let go, and that's something that we've seen a lot, especially earlier this season. Teams are really gouging the Britons' front 4. They were able to sidestep those initial tackles and get off those initial hits, turned up the field. Not the case today.
3rd down now and 12, and you got to believe White's going to have to look to throw, and he does. Out into the flat. Same guy, though, same result. About a pickup of 3 as they find Jared Pittman in the flat. Pittman will get what they lost back, plus a yard, maybe 2, but it'll set 4th down and 8 and force the punter onto the field.
Plenty of pressure that time up the gut. And again, with that kind of pressure coming up and almost a Matador type offensive front, you think they're setting up a screen pass right there. But somebody must have defensed that well. Maybe a linebacker curled off and got the running back, because the outlet pass was definitely not a screen pass. It was more just a safety valve.
A.J. Convertino is the punter. He's averaging about 38 yards per kick, and he will kick this one away to Jordan Carter, one of the seniors. And he will try to kick it away from Carter, but Carter gets in front of it at the 24. Across the 25, runs into a bit of a pile at about the 28 and goes down right there.
Usually those line drive kicks are disaster waiting to happen for the kick team. However, good coverage downfield, as you had Jacob Frederick, 31, and Taylor Jackson, number 40, combine on the tackle. And that'll bring up starting field position this time of the 29. Quite a bit better than the 5-yard line the Britons had the first time. However, they were able to get that one down and get 3 points out of it. We'll see what possession number 2 brings for Coach Rundle's offensive squad.
If the defensive front stays true to what they did in that opening drive, Pittman ran the ball two times for a -1 yard. Plus, they had 2 offside penalties that did help that offense stay in motion. Koski with the catch on first down across the 35 to about the 36.
Koski might end up getting 20 receptions today if this is the case, Jim. What's that, his 5th already?
Yeah, he has really been
4 or 5.
He's been a working man here so far, hadn't he, huh?
A couple that were out of bounds, that one was almost a touchdown, and then one that he dropped on the sideline too. So, I mean, they've gone to him at least, I'd say, 7, 8 times so far.
It's been an interesting afternoon so far for Sean Koski, and we'll check that number here in just a minute. Snap goes back, and the handoff goes to Zarnecki, and Zarnecki will be tripped up in the backfield. He'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but it will be close.
99, Noah Coplin on the tackle right there. The freshman gets in, and just as we saw in the last possession for the Britons front 4, was able to get Zarnecki's foot and not let him spin out. So good stop for a loss.
So it'll be 3rd down and about 4 for the Britons to keep this drive alive. They're second here in the afternoon. And they'll look to throw this football across the middle and almost intercepted. Is a nice job cutting that route. 25 is Josh Vance.
Yep.
And Vance, with one more step, would have been exactly where he needed to be to intercept that ball. Look at him come across the top right there. One more step, and he's dancing to the end zone.
Yep. Not only was that well timed, but I think that was a fortunate break for the Britons, as Blanzy definitely stared down his target right there. Good jump on the ball and much better defensive sequence for Kalamazoo.
So he'll drop into a punt formation now and kick this one away. The first punt of the afternoon, and Paget will run towards it, but watch it bounce out of bounds right in front of the Britons sideline at about the 28-yard line. Down to John on the sideline for a minute here. John, attitude to everybody? Everybody feeling pretty good about this one, I think?
Yeah, I think they're just still shaking their rust off a little bit, but they had a nice opening drive, got some points out of it, which is always good, and had a good stop. They're just looking to build off that.
Sounds good. Kyle Thomas on the sideline. Are you seeing a number 2? I thought I saw him warming up, but he has not been out so far today.
I have seen him down here, and I asked head athletic trainer Andy Lawrence if. I asked him what the deal was, and of course he gave me the no comment.
Well,
there you go.
I'll try to find out more.
They allow that in a coaching circle. There's something that's being discussed or a message being sent, as you probably pretty well understand yourself, don't you, huh?
Yep.
So we'll leave it at that. That'll be between the coaches and the player here with us. But Sam Blanzy has opened up in the first 2 drives here for the Britons this afternoon. First down run goes for about a yard, and it'll be 2nd down now and 9. 6:34 to play.
Jumped offsides. You had 2 players over the nose of the ball. Yeah, that last one is option left, and the wind isn't going to help that option play a whole lot. So that's one where you might run a few times, but not too often.
White will drop, look to throw this time. He's going into a little deeper portion of the rotation.
Nice
he had
stick.
Paget where he wanted him, but he also had Jordan Carter in the neighborhood, and Carter says, I'm playing my last game. I'm going to get my money's worth this afternoon.
That was a serious stick, and we have an injured player down. I think that might be, you said Dylan Paget, number 3 right there.
Yeah.
Had the ball. Let's see if we can get maybe we already got a replay. I wasn't looking up at the monitor right there, but Had that one on the money, a little bit of a floater, and because that was a floater, he got drilled down to the turf, and that one popped
Timeout
loose for
for an injured
incomplete.
player.
But
And
no
that-
doubt he's shaken up and will come off for at least a play.
Dylan Paget, a 5'8", 170-pound junior, heading to the sideline. He did take a stick. If you notice today, we have camera operators in with us at the booth, so every now and then you might see a post pop up or something. Kind of a chilly, nasty day here in Albion, so we brought them inside and allowed them to stay warm. The only guy that's having to really deal with the weather is the Iron Man down on the sideline, Big John, and he's down there weathering it out. John, it's not cold down there, is it, huh?
No, I mean, again, it's not that bad. If the wind picks up, I will be coming up there. But
Well, John, Thomas is right next to you. Why don't you just holler over and ask
Yeah.
him why he's not playing?
Say, hey, hey, Kyle, come over here for a minute. Let's talk for a minute.
He's walking right towards you. Get an exclusive with him.
3rd down and 9. Here comes the all-out rush from the Britons. White rolls out, throws on the run. It'll be a little too far, and that'll set up a 4th down now. As a nice job by Zach Zagon to try to pull that one in, but at the same time, running out of real estate, heading into unfriendly territory over here in front of the Britons bench, and White basically just running for his life, Jimmy.
I saw defensive front again of the Britons pinning their ears back, getting after the quarterback, and not a whole lot of resistance from the offensive line of Kalamazoo. So I think they see mismatch opportunities on the defensive front, are able to push through, and that should not only deter the passing game, but that should also shut the running game down too.
Jordan Carter waiting for the kick, and this one will be fielded by Jordan at the 25-yard line.
Nice
and
tackle.
right at the 30-yard line, he goes down.
Frederick on the tackle. Again, they're getting it done not only in the defense but also special teams. Those are some sure-handed tacklers. That 3 or 4 player group that I mentioned, the linebackers for Kalamazoo.
And you know the one thing when we get into Jordan now, as he is a senior, and we're also talking basketball. Now we're talking Carden and Carter, and that one living brain cell works back
now
and
you
forth
have a
there.
coach versus a player. There you go.
It's always an interesting time at that point in time when you have to be dragged between those two names, Jim. Blanzy throws out in the flats. He's got his brother, and Brian will twist his way close to the 39-yard line. So for Blanzy so far, Jimmy, that will be now his 9th completion, 9 out of 15 for 64 plus the 872 yards here at this point in time. And he's doing a pretty nice job controlling this offense here early.
Koskilling credit for 4 catches, but he's dropped at least 2 or 3. So, I mean, he's been targeted, I'd say, at least 8 times.
Blanzy turns around and hands to Zarnecki, and Pat will have the first down as he follows that offensive line ahead for about 4.
And I think if this offense, Jim, I know this is going to be so strange to say considering how much of a hurry-up offense the Brits run, but if they can be patient today, I think they can get chunk plays and they can put points on the board and really dominate time of possession, but they have to be patient.
Back to that doubles look on both sides. Blanzy going to throw, and he's got his guy. And up to the
That's
first
81.
down stick and out of bounds goes 81 Colby Canfield.
It'd be about 1 yard short of the first down, but it's nice to be able to see the 1 there instead of wondering if that was a 7 or a 1. Finally turned and faced this one.
And they are about the same size. You're
Yeah.
right. They're both
Yep.
tall guys with decent builds on them. In fact,
ball
Canfield
start,
not quite
yeah.
as big, I don't think, as what Blanzy is. As you see, 87 on this side over here. And the procedure penalty against the Britons
I think
will
that's
be
gonna-
their 3rd now.
Going to go with Lige McKinney, I believe, on the right side, flinched that shoulder.
Well, you know, when you've got the opportunity here on a
Illegal
senior day
procedure. Offense, number
to run a
74,
team out, you really
5-yard
want to do it.
penalty, 2nd down.
They're going
And
to get Jordan Jones 74, but I thought the outside guy was 71, but neither way.
And the problem that you're really running into here today is the mistakes here have cost us probably a touchdown already, and really allowed this Hornets team to feel a little more confident and comfortable against you. You've gotten done pretty much anything you wanted to do so far, Jim.
Again, it's just being patient. I think that, they're seeing the mismatches and they're taking advantage of them, but they're also still showing a little bit too much impatience as there's a nice stop by the defensive front and the linebacker cleanup for a short loss.
Zarnecki will lose a couple there. It'll be 3rd down now and about 7 for the Britons. 4:42 to play. And, again, Kalamazoo coming in after a win last week over Rockford. You've got to be feeling a little bit better about yourself coming in this afternoon. You're not looking at the same Britain's team that was a couple of years ago where you figure you're going to get rolled. So they're coming in confident that they can play this afternoon.
Sure. Nothing to lose.
Blanzy now will run out of time. He'll roll to his right. Throw at the last second. And again, this one will be a little too high for Canfield and will be out of bounds, incomplete at the 42-yard line, and send the punt team back out on the football field.
Good coverage downfield by Kalamazoo right there. The secondary did its job. And despite Blanzy scrambling to his right, unable to find anybody open. So they had to cover not only for the, say, 2.5, 3 seconds that normally be asked, but probably extended an extra 2 or 3 seconds. That's tough for a defensive back to do, but got to tip your hat to him. Excellent job.
Seth Dexter will drop back deep here for Kalamazoo, and they will kick the ball on a kind of a knuckleball that will take a big hop, and Dexter will pull it in at the 9-yard line. Out across the 15 where he's tripped up, and it will be a 1st down and 10 for Kalamazoo, and you think we're going to get a late hit on that one possibly?
I'm not sure. I saw that flag coming in for the far side. That was an impressive toss by the official.
At the very end, there was a little bump on the ground after Dexter had basically been touchdown. And whether they're going to call that as a unnecessary roughness or what maybe they saw something else. We won't speculate anymore.
No, but we are breathless with anticipation.
Dead ball, personal foul.
Yep.
On the kicking team. Number 84, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
So Zach Kitka was the fellow, I believe. He really was trying to kind of pull up short, and they bounced off of one another on the carpet there at the very end. And you do see that every now and then, but it was not really an out-and-out spear. But in the determination of the official, it was a penalty, and the penalty will cause the Britons to give up some yardage and will allow the Hornets to start at the 31-yard line. 4:09 to play, opening quarter. White throws it across the middle, and he's got the same guy that just returned that, Dexter, for a nice pickup of about 7 yards right across the center of the field.
Found a soft spot between the linebackers and the safeties right there for a nice 6-7 yard catch. And didn't have to really advance it much farther. You get a nice gain on 1st down. Opens up the playbook on 2nd down.
When you talk about this football team, there are several seniors on this team, including Alex White and Mr. Dexter, who caught that last pass. And there you go. There's the young guy you were warning us about, C.J. Foster, on the draw play. The freshman gets the 1st down and then some out across the 45 to the 46.
Foster, definitely your change of pace back, Jim. 5'6", 178.
White drops. Runs out of time, sees a nice hole up the middle. He'll take advantage of it, get to the midfield stripe, and be pulled down right there after a pickup of about 4.
I would think when I have Foster in the game, Jim, I would send someone on a blitz, a linebacker, just to make him pick him up on blitz pickup. A guy who's 5'6" like that. I don't know that. I'm not doubting he's a tough guy, but 5'6" is not usually the body type to be picking up blitzers.
Jacob Wickens was the young guy that made the tackle and was also bounced just a little bit, and they'll go back to Foster. And this time Foster finds the running a little more difficult on the left side, only picks up about a yard.
That's what happens when you plug those holes in the middle. You're not able to get past the defensive line and then start making your cuts. If you're running into the teeth of the defense and the defense is doing its job, holding its spots, you're not going to be able to get much farther than he got.
Been kind of a quick first quarter already as the Britons come running on 3rd down, and they knocked that one out of the air. And I believe it was Joe Fullerton, 45, that got his paws on it. Let's see the replay here.
There's a screen pass going to Foster, but it was an excellent job. If you don't get at the quarterback, what are you taught to do, Jim? Get your hands up.
Get them up in the air. 4th down, and they're going to go for it. At least they're showing signs of it right now. Let's see whether White will try to draw people off sides or whether he might just quick kick this thing as well.
Well, we've seen.
Here we go. Now they're going to shift the entire football team with 17 seconds on the play clock.
I like it, the old fire drill. But again, you made him jump twice on a previous drive, so why not try it?
See if something like that would draw them off sides one more time. Here comes the kick, and it will drive Carter back to the 12. That's got to be a little interference, I would think. Finally comes the
I don't know why the
flag.
official staring at the returner didn't throw that flag. The official with his kind of a blind spot saw it, but
You can see right here,
Catch interference, yeah.
you know, there's just absolutely no room whatsoever there to catch that football as Giovanni was down a little bit early.
So this one will go to the benefit of the Britons and will give them at least respectable starting field position just outside the 20, I would guess, as we're at the 2:24 mark of quarter number 1. And the Britons lead 3-0 on the Britain Sports Network.
So we will wait for the call here, but
Kick catch interference.
there you go.
Kicking team number 47.
Out.
15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Jake Olson, then the number, actually. I saw the 4 when I thought it was Giovanni, but he had a 7 next to that one, so we can take Mr. Giovanni off of the hook there for a minute and give the football back to the Britons as they will start at the 29-yard line. Fake, throw out into the flat again. This time it is Koski one more time, and this is going to be really fun now. We got a 6 and a 9 in there, Jimmy.
Well, you know, if the 9's in there, they're going to throw to him. I think that's about the 9th or 10th pass attempt that's come his way, and that's his 5th or 6th catch on the day so far. Not a ton of yardage, but they're moving the chains with usually 1 or 2 passes.
And they'll throw it up to the top of the football field, and that's exactly where they're going, is the 6. And you're going to grab a number for me there because I don't have a 6 on my card anywhere.
Give me 1 second, and I will give you the identity of number 6. That's Isaiah Gibson, the freshman wideout from St. Petersburg.
There you go. So Isaiah Gibson getting a nice little chilly Saturday afternoon 7-yard catch on the second down. It sets up third down now and 3 for the Brits. Blanzy again throwing that little crossing
that's
pass.
That's got to be pass interference, Jim. He was draped all over.
Oh, man, I'm telling you what.
He was on him like a cheap suit.
Deshaun Moore was the young man on the coverage, and I would agree with you. Koski, basically you couldn't see Koski for Moore.
Yeah,
officials had a pretty good look at it down there, and they're closer than we are, so they didn't see anything that they didn't like, and it'll be 4th down, and the Brits will have to kick this one away.
Have to say it was impeccable timing at that point, not too early, but at the first glance, it looked like he was on him a little early, kind of going through him to get to the ball.
Dexter again stands back at the 30 as Blanzy kicks, and he's under duress. He goes down, and again they're going to leave that handkerchief in their back pocket, and Dexter will field with a fair catch down at the 23-yard line.
No, you can't call that one. I mean, I get, running into the kicker possibly, but he was already set at that point, and I think you're just going to see if you can get the flag. So it's worth it to take the fall and see if you can get the penalty, but I think that was a good no call.
Well, neither team's really been able to get much of an offensive push going here this afternoon. Both have driven the football a little bit, but have not been able to score any more than a field goal here in the opening quarters. The Britons up 3-0 here with 1:27 to play in quarter number 1. And the Hornets with the football again. Both teams having some troubles getting anything going against the opposition defense. Here comes the blitz. They'll flush White out around the end, and he'll be pushed out of bounds in front of the Britons bench at the 30-yard line, so White will end up with about 6 before he is bounced out of bounds, and I believe that was 44 Hunter Shaw that made the push.
Shaw chasing him to the sideline, and you have to think at some point you're going to want to reach that white paint as fast as you can to get out on your own terms, as opposed to having Hunter Shaw launch you into the track area.
6 yards on first down for White. Second down now and 4 as we go under a minute. And they'll turn around and hand it off to their running back, Jared Pittman. And Pittman will have the first down as he scoots up the home sideline for about 6.
Weren't able to set that left edge on the defense. And he was able to string it out just far enough outside, get past the chains for the first down. And the clock continues to roll, under 45 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Here at the end of the quarter, we'll get John to take a look around the conference for us if we can, and catch some other scores from around the MIAA as we wrap up the season around the conference. The only team moving on is going to be the Trine Thunder. White throws it up the sideline, and good coverage there at midfield by Robinson. And the intended receiver really had no place to go, as it was 15 A.J. Convertino. And Convertino and Rayshawn Robinson look to be one and the same as you look down at the 50-yard line.
Good no call right there. Kind of stopped short on his route a little bit.
Second down and 10. Pittman again, the running back in the backfield to the left of White in the pistol. And they'll send him out to the flat, and then
Design
White
drop.
will come right up the middle. He'll have close to the first down. Nice job by Rodriguez to be able to grab a hold of him at the 45-yard line and keep him from crossing the 45, which is what he needed for the first down. So it'll be third down now and 1.
That should bring up the end of the first quarter. And that gives me a moment, Jim, to let people know that the Albion College Theater Department's run of Public Enemy continues at 8 p.m. tonight in the Herrick Auditorium Theater. The show will be on stage through November 19th. Visit albion.edu/theater with the RE spelling, or call 629-0344 for a complete schedule of performances and ticket information.
John, as we head down to the sideline, are there any scores that you got for us so far here at the end of one?
Yeah, we got a few shutouts going right now. We have Hope up 21-0 at against Concordia, Wisconsin. Meanwhile, we have Adrian up 21-0 over Alma early in the game, and then trying, of course, playing strong against Olivet. They are also up 14-0.
There you go. And the amazing thing is that he doesn't even use any kind of device to go out and search that. That's all through telepathy. John, are you studying that here at Albion?
I am not, but I should look into that.
It's amazing. You look down on the sideline, he has nothing in front of him, Jimmy. He's just in tune with the universe.
Man.
I'll tell you what, we used to have telephone lines to all the broadcast booths around the league like that, but John just does it with his own mind.
Is that a financial aid eligible program yet?
It could
Here
be.
at Albion?
It might be.
Or is that just an independent study by John?
We will
Either way,
open,
good job.
open quarter number 2 with the Hornets in possession of the football game, and the turn to Pittman. And Pittman
Good stop.
only needed a yard, but the Britons said, nope, you're going to lose a yard on this one, as they crunched the initial line of scrimmage. And Pittman ran into a wall of Britons there at the 44.5-yard line, and it will set up a fourth down and about 2.
Also bobbled that quarterback running back exchange right there just a little bit, which slowed him down. I don't think he was able to hit the hole with anywhere near the momentum he wanted.
So Gibson will drop back now at the 25-yard line. So you're starting to see some new faces in this final Saturday afternoon here in Albion. And you continue to see Kyle Thomas working out on the sideline. Are they going to fake this? Nope, they will kick it. And a low line driver to the center of the football field with Hornets all around it means that Britons need to get away, and that's exactly what they do, and the Hornets will down it at the Britons' 23-yard line. It'll be first down and 10. First opportunity here in the second quarter now for Sam Blanzy. Blanzy at 12 for 20 on the afternoon so far, Jimmy, 88 yards. Freeman with 4 attempts for 23 yards, and Zarnecki with 3 attempts for 3 yards here, and your buddy Koski leading the way in reception so far.
5 catches for 36 yards. Brian Blanzy 3 for 34, and Colby Canfield 2 for 19. So they've targeted Koski, and they've sensed a mismatch up there on the top side, but haven't really been able to get any big plays out of it yet.
Sam Blanzy hands off to Pat Zarnecki, and Zarnecki stutter steps his way around the right end for a couple. It'll be second down now and about 7. And Jacob Frederick, the tackler there for the Hornets.
Dominating time possession so far, just over 9.5 minutes compared to 6.5 advantage Albion, but only a 3-point edge on the scoreboard.
Britons have Kitka there on the wing in the H-back spot, and they'll fake the ball to Blanzy, and they had the little go route going to Koski on the home sideline, and Koski got hung up back around the 30-yard line. That ball thrown out of bounds. I believe Blanzy saw that really his receiver was not open and just let fly.
Nope. And you could have been looking for maybe an illegal contact, but I don't think he was even 5 yards down the field right there. So that was just a bad play all around.
Kitka now lined up here on the home side. Doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom with that H-back. Here comes the blitz from the top. Zarnecki picks it up. They go right back to Kitka, who pulls in the pass at the 31, maybe the 32-yard line. He needs the 34 for the first down. And that's going to set up a fourth down and short now for the Britons.
Good open field tackle by Corey Gensterblum, the sophomore secondary member for Kalamazoo. If he spins out of that tackle, I think he gets the extra couple yards for the first down. So good open field tackle, not letting him spin out. As you see, he comes off the field a little gimpy, Jim, goes to the trainer's table.
Dylan Paget will drop back at the 25-yard line to wait the kick from Sam Blancy, and he gets a monster kick out of this one. Way up in the air. Paget inside the 10 at the 8. Rodriguez right there to wrap him up at the 13-yard line and drop him. And I'll tell you what, Jose Rodriguez is if he is not the special teams player of the year, he's got to be one of them, because he just absolutely is everywhere on special teams for the Britons. It's unbelievable, Jimmy.
You think Blanzy knew that he had the wind advantage on that kick? When a punter goes, and granted he's also playing quarterback today, but when a punter goes over and does a leaping chest bump to another player,
yeah,
you're that fired up about a special teams play. I think he knew that, if I can really get into one right now, your field, the win situation, and he knew that that one was going to go way into the stratosphere.
14-yard line is where the Hornets will put this one in play, and they will hand the football off. And in the backfield, knocked down for a loss of a couple, is Jared Pittman, as Pittman had no place to go.
Nope. And that was
Nick Davenport, I think, 46.
Davenport on the stop, and that was a case where he not only, Jim, was able to get the tackle, but in the process of throwing him to the ground, he was also able to get a rip attempt on the ball. So good stop.
White drops back to almost his goal line. Then he throws to the outlet man, and that is his running back, Jared Pittman. And Pittman took his eye off it for a second and lost the handle of it. And Rodriguez was right there to knock him down, wasn't he, Jimmy?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and that's why he took his eye off the ball right there. You
Yep.
have 35, who is more than happy to introduce him to the field turf here at Albion College.
12-10 to play, second quarter, third down at about 14 for the Hornets, as they have their back up against their end zone here against the Britons defense that has been very aggressive up front. Here comes the rush again. White's going to try to release up the middle, but he has defensive linemen waiting on him at the 13-yard line.
And it's just a safe play call there, design quarterback draw. If your first option isn't open, isn't getting the separation, you're just going to take that one down and run and not try to force anything. So you live to fight another down, and hopefully your punter can flip field position. But it looks like the Britons should have pretty good starting field position with this drive.
Tyler George, the junior, knocks him down for a pickup of only a couple. Set up fourth down now and 12. And the punter, Convertino, will have to step into his own end zone. Good snap, rolls to his right a little bit. Again, gets a low kick, but it's kicked away from the back, and it is picked up at the 45-yard line, across the 50, and out of bounds at the 47-yard line of the Hornets, and that was Isaiah Gibson again, who's getting a little playing time this afternoon. Again, you're looking at Jordan Carter, who has been really one of the punt returners that we've known ever since we've been doing this football games, Jim. And he is senior on his way out. You've got to find his replacement. Maybe we're starting to see Isaiah Gibson step into that role here this afternoon.
And, you're kind of, it's bittersweet, because you want to see if the senior, what he can do in that last game. But, again, you're also looking towards the future, and what better way to find out than in real game action.
Blanzy again running the ship here. Turns to Freeman, and Freeman gets the pins taken out about 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, so he'll lose a couple.
Really nice open field tackle by Copeland right there, 99. And we have an injured Briton on the field, Jim. That's number 74, Jordan Jones, the freshman.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
Jim will let people know that in celebration of the Albion Noisy-le-Roi Bally Sister City's 20th anniversary, the series of French cinema and French-related films continues with matinee showings next Friday and Saturday at the Bohm Theater downtown. The screenings are free and the public is invited to attend. Call Diane Gwynenlel at the college's Modern Languages and Cultures Department. Diane, I apologize if I mispronounced your last name. It's 629-0207, or visit bohmtheater.org for more information.
And the halftime show today is going to be a fun one. I think if you enjoy the British Eights, we're going to pick up their entire program here at halftime. We're also going to get the thoughts of both the basketball coaches here at halftime. Our buddy Bobby Lee able to sit down with both coaches and look ahead towards the season that's coming up. Women are picked number 4 in the conference right now. The men picked at number 5, and it'll be fun to hear from both the coaches at halftime as to what they think of their programs this year. Both teams with plenty of friendly faces coming back from last year. John, we'll get you to check up on some scores here in a minute or two again, and the next time we get a chance, we'll we'll look around the conference. But so far, it's not been a very good afternoon for anybody. But the Hornets here so far, because everybody else is getting rolled on somebody's home field today, aren't they? Huh?
Yeah, that is true. Some scores that will probably get pretty high scoring, especially in that Hope game and that Trying game.
Long throw down the field to Canfield, and a little shoving and pushing match down there around the 15-yard line that got everybody in purple and gold a little bit upset, but left the laundry in the pockets of the gentleman with the striped shirts, and it just goes as a long incompletion.
Let him play, right, Jim?
Yep, that's it.
Let him play.
Kind of that WWE mentality here this afternoon, isn't it, Jimmy, huh?
Yeah, no steel chairs on the field today, thankfully.
That's the important part. Doug Freeman, the running back again, the senior. Sam Blanzy, the quarterback who started today. We have not seen Kyle Thomas at all this afternoon on the football field. He has been warming up perpetually on the sideline. So we're not sure maybe whether this is a half and half type arrangement today or what is going to happen, but we'll find out. And so far, Sam with a pretty good afternoon of football, even though Britain's only up 3-0.
Well, the running game hasn't really been there today, so it's pretty much been all through the air. So I'd be curious to see if Thomas is healthy, you know, what that dimension of a scrambling quarterback could do for the team.
Blanzy tries to thread the needles to Canfield on the visitor's sideline. He pulled it in, but I don't think he was in bounds.
Nope.
Right there at the sticks, and what a nice job by the freshman to be able to pull that one down. Holy smokes. And a nice throw by Sam Blanzy in between coverage.
Yep. But again, it's, you know, you're putting it where only your player can get it, but you have to give that player a chance to get it in bounds. And Blanzy has completed now 3 or 4 passes, technically, you know, completed, but hasn't put the player in a position to make the play in bounds.
They would drop Dylan Padgett back deep again, and again, Blanzy with a nice high booming kick. And Padgett will let it bounce, and he'll wish he hadn't, as Rodriguez will pick it up on one bounce down at about the 3-yard line.
Darned if you do, darned if you don't right there for the Kalamazoo returner, where it's tough to catch that one on the run with the wind influencing where that ball is going. So if you make a good play on the run, you run the risk of having it hit off your fingertips and fumble deep in your own territory, which could directly lead to a touchdown. So you take the safe route and you let it go, but you end up getting it down inside the 5.
Britons have had the ball for 33 plays this afternoon compared to Kalamazoo's 19. Total yards 121 for the Britons up until this point, for 43 for Kalamazoo, but it's still just a 3-0 score, as Kalamazoo will have the football down inside the 5-yard line. They'll mark it at the 4. White fakes, drops into the end zone. Well, in fact, they handed it to 24, C.J. Foster. I was watching White in the end zone, waiting for him to throw the ball, and then I had to look at the pile a little bit ahead. A nice job that time by White on the fake.
A quick counter run back to the right side. Very minimal gain, and an injury update for the Brits. Zach Kitka has a ice wrap, I believe, on that left knee. We'll see if he's able to return still in this first half.
Again, C.J. Foster into the left of White. He will stand at the goal line this time for his second down attempt. 2nd and 8. Fakes, rolls, looking for somebody to come the other way, and here comes the big guys. They're going to run him out of the pocket up to about the 9-yard line, where he'll step out of bounds. A little miscommunication or misdirection there for White that time, as he's looked to the right, then he spun to his left, headed towards the home sideline, but nobody bit on the fake. 3rd down now at about 5 for the Hornets.
Incredible patience by the young quarterback there, Jim. When you're rolling and you're near your end zone and you have 3 defenders on you, it can be challenging to panic, but he didn't panic there.
White drops back. Here comes the heat. He'll retreat back in his end zone. Britt's going to follow him. Throws the ball off, and I'll tell you what, C.J. Foster was calling for the football, and just as soon as he called for the football, he got upended just in front of that first down stick. And a nice job there by Jordan Carter, I believe, that made that stick.
And
it'll
you're right,
be 4th
Jim.
down at about a yard.
C.J. Foster, if he could take that football jersey off, he would have had a striped official's jersey underneath, because he was absolutely certain on his landing there that he had the first down. He made the signal, was encouraging them to move the chains and everything, but the official has the final say and reminds him that that was not the case.
4th down and a yard as the Britons about to get this football back, we believe. Gibson stands at the midfield stripe. Snap is a good one. Kick away from the goal line, and a short kick, which will be down to the 36-yard line. Boy, I'll tell you, the wind is coming kind of that way, so you're kicking into the wind right at this point in time. And it's probably about a 15, 18-mile-an-hour wind coming right in your face.
Yeah, and it's, you know, you and I have been here long enough that we know the wind blows towards us. So if you're going to kick, if you're going to roll out and kick, don't kick it towards your sideline. Kick it towards the Britain sideline and try to get it up in that crosswind right there where it's going to carry it at least a little bit towards the Britain sideline.
So the Britons have the football and with 8:45 to play here in this first quarter of football. They're up 3-0, and let's see if they can use this short field to their advantage and maybe come up with a score.
Be totally honest with you, if they want to keep kicking it that way, though, that's fine.
Elverson Mitchell in the ball game here now to the left of Blanzy in the pistol. They'll fake it to Mitchell, and Blanzy's going for the home run ball. Across the middle to Koski, and a nice job down there to break that up. Deshaun Moore, who was stride for stride with him, and a nice pass that time. We thought Koski maybe had that one and was heading for the end zone, at least inside the 5, and a nice job by Moore to time that one up and knock it away.
And we'd called Moore's name being burned on a lot of those short passes in the first quarter, but he has really made up for himself with some good plays here in the second quarter.
Swing pass this time out into the flat, and Gibson with the football, and he'll be close to a first down when they finally get him knocked down at the 26-yard line. In fact, no decision whatsoever. It's 1st and 10.
Saw the far side official right there as he just kind of kept creeping up towards that 26-yard line. As soon as they make that very discreet first down arrow signal, you know, because they don't measure.
Gibson, Winchell, and Canfield are 3 receivers to the top right now. And they will fake the handoff, and they're going up the sideline to Martin, and it's just over his head. I'll tell you what, a wide open Marlon Martin streaking down that home sideline at the goal line, had a good 5 yards on the defender, but the ball just a little bit out of his reach. 8:13 to play, quarter number 2. Great idea. 2nd down now and 10.
Vance and Moore, the corners for Kalamazoo, have really been tested today. The run game, as I mentioned, has not really gotten off and running. So, you know, it's been all pretty much pass for success for the Brits.
Blanzy turns, hands to Mitchell. Mitchell will try the left side. Had a little bit of a crease, so he slipped through it, and he'll be at the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd down now and about 4 as Mitchell gets 6 on first down.
A nice gain right there, and it's important to start getting nice gains on the ground right there. You can't afford to be too one-dimensional as an offense. You have to mix it up at least a little bit.
On 2nd down, excuse me, there as they move Gibson now to the top of the screen.
Tried the home run ball on first.
Yep.
Got a nice gain off left end on second. Brings up a manageable 3rd down at the 7:40 mark.
So I misspoke a little bit. That throws to Canfield, and that's a first down as Canfield comes back for it, then spins up the sideline for a couple extra down to the 12-yard line. First down for the Brits.
2nd down, 3rd down, all that matters is first down.
That's all that matters, Jimmy. And, you know,
Britons
1, 2, 3.
Yep, Britons get a first down there, and inside the red area just at the 7:30 mark to go in the first half. Still only 3-0 Britons, but they're on the move looking for more.
Mitchell again, the only running back in the backfield here at the Brits. They've got triples to the top this time. Koski one-on-one down on the bottom side. They'll throw that little screen, and boy, they had that one set up, I believe. If Gibson could have pulled that one in, I think both the guys in front of him had a block. He had a hole right up that sideline. Whether he'd gotten in or not, I don't know, but he'd have been close.
Yeah, Canfield, 81, upfield, was able to square his shoulders due north-south on that block, so that means he would have been driving his corner pretty much straight back towards the end zone, and that would have been a nice seam up the left side.
2nd down now and 10 for the Britons. They can get a first down. Fake to Mitchell, throw into the flat, ball comes loose. They'll say it's incomplete. That was close. Kyle Winchell was the intended receiver. He wrapped it in, wasn't able to wrap it up and get a good step under his feet before he was shaken free. And it'll be an incompletion, 3rd down now and 10.
Josh Vance, number 25. You mentioned earlier the stride for stride knockdown on that deep pattern. There was a case where they're able to get a good stick on a completion to jar the ball loose too. Secondary playing a lot better in the second quarter for Kalamazoo.
They really are. Britons with an opportunity. 3rd down, though. They'll throw this little fade in the corner of the end zone. That's Canfield. He brings it down. He gets a foot in. Defensive back's not happy with the whole situation, but the Britons fans are good with the idea as it's 9-0 with the touchdown. Watch the replay here.
Good timing route. Never turned around for the ball. So even if he's not down, you could have easily made an argument that was PI, but touchdown's a lot better than a penalty, and the Britons go up 9-0 with the extra point attempt coming to try to make it a double-digit lead.
So a nice job by the Britons to take advantage of the short field and parlay it into their first touchdown of the afternoon. And with 7:08 to play in the opening half, the Britons, with an extra point, will take a 10-0 lead.
And you have to do that with those short fields, Jim. You have to get those in the end zone. Can't settle for field goals.
Bad snap, but it's placed well, and the kick is up, and it's good. As we head down to the sideline right now, John, I'll tell you, it's 10-0 here. What are the scores around the conference?
Yeah, so Hope is now up 35-6 over Concordia. They're looking to keep pushing it there. Trying to still up 14-0, so it looks like Olivet's kind of trying a little bit of the business, but trying still obviously the better team. And then we have Adrian is up 21-14 over Alma, so close game in Adrian right now.
So a good game down in Adrian, a good game here at Albion, and everybody else starting to make their way towards the dressing room here at halftime with big leads. And the Britons, after that short field and that short drive, hoping maybe this is the start of a big afternoon for their offense as well. 10-0 now, Brits.
Just over 7 to play in the first half, Jim. Nice drive on the short field right there.
Josh Atwell is the young man, number 14 on our side, and Keegan Rickman is on the top side. They'll go to Atwell here at the 9. And he'll come right up the middle of the football field. Now he's cutting towards his sideline. He's got a little room, runs out of room at the 25-yard line, finds a whole lot of gold helmets and purple jerseys that'll knock him down at the 24-yard line. It will be first down and 10 now for the Hornets.
Albion's Student Athlete Advisory Committee hosts its annual Winter Carnival from 4 to 8 inside the Dow Recreation Center. The event features games, inflatables, crafts, prizes, and food for families. Monetary donations, new unwrapped toys or clothing, and non-perishable food items will all be accepted for distribution in the community. Contact Melissa Walton in the athletic department at 629-0593 for more information. That's the Winter Carnival coming up from 4 to 8.
If you're just tuning in, Andre Fabry hit the 33-yard field goal at the 9:55 mark to make it 3-0 as the first down run comes around the left end, and then Kobe Canfield on a 13-yard pass from Sam Blanzy, and the extra point was good. It's 10-0. A pickup of about 5 yards on that opening run by Jared Pittman. And Pittman this afternoon has found the entire afternoon not to his liking necessarily, as the Britons have been all over that running game here early.
Yeah, both teams have done a pretty good job defending the run. It's been a weakness of the Britons so far, but I don't know that it was necessarily a strength of Kalamazoo either.
White under an awful lot of pressure, had to throw that one away. 45, Joe Fullerton. 46, Nick Davenport, giving Mr. White the business in the backfield. Third down now and 5.
Severely underthrown ball as a result, Jim, and nobody knew that ball was coming. That one fell harmlessly to the ground, but a couple of Britons defenders basically landed right by their backs.
White now will spin and head towards the visitor sideline. He's got pressure coming, and he has to throw this one away. Heading for Rickman on the sideline. It wouldn't have been enough for the first down, but White really running out of time, running out of real estate, and he just had to let go of the football.
I like the hustle by both Fullerton and Shaw right there, 44 and 45, taking the angle and really bearing down on the quarterback as he rolled out towards his sideline, and he tried to thread the needle to get that one near the first down marker, but falls incomplete. But another good defensive sequence by the much maligned Britons defense. They've played a really nice game so far.
0 for 7 now in the afternoon for Kalamazoo on third down. They only have run 25 plays compared to 41 for the Britons, and have a total of only 57 yards on the afternoon of offense. So the Britons defense showed up to play this afternoon. Low, nasty kick that everybody's going to let roll. Nope, it's going to be scooped up at about the 22-yard line. I'll tell you what, Isaiah Gibson, his eyes just kept getting bigger and bigger every time I think that ball hopped. I thought he was going to let it roll, but probably a smart idea to scoop it up and save himself about 5 yards, because that ball was still going towards our end zone.
I think he didn't anticipate it continuing to bounce as fast as it was. Usually you think that one's going to hit and then it's going to skip and it's going to stop, but that's one where it was a low line drive that just kept skipping and skipping. And, you know, you say it's a good play because he picked it up, but I would argue that that was a potentially horrible idea because one good swipe and that could have been a fumble.
So the Britons have the football, first down and 10. Again, Blanzy in the backfield at the controls. He's been there all afternoon. He hands it to Freeman, who stumbled a little bit in the backfield, but still will get ahead for a couple.
Ended up being a nice run on first down right there. Even though he stumbled, he was able to kind of stay in that lower trajectory and get a very low center of gravity. Tough to bring down. Able to push the pile for a nice 4-yard gain out just past the 25.
So second down now at about 7 for the Britons. 5:37 and counting here, quarter number 2. Don't forget, we will have the British Eights and their entire performance here at halftime for you today. As that ball's thrown into the slot, Blanzy to Blanzy, and Bryan's up across the 34, maybe the 35. That'll be enough to move the sticks. Another first down for the Britons.
Blanzy considerably bigger than the 2 corners he was taking on, so he was able to see after he turned around the blocking upfield, and he saw about a probably good 3 to 4 inch height advantage and a definite weight advantage. He was able to just kind of put the shoulder down and muscle for a few extra yards.
First down and 10. Last Saturday afternoon in the calendar, and Blanzy threads the needle, but the incompletion will happen around the 46-yard line, 47-yard line. Ball thrown right on the money to Kyle Winchell, but not able to pull it in. And I'll tell you, I was impressed that he was able to get that in. In fact, it was 15. Coley Crowley that was the intended receiver, not 85. So we get Crowley there instead of Winchell on that drop. And I was just surprised that Blanzy was able to thread the needle and get it in. There were 3 defenders right there around Crowley, Jimmy.
Yeah, that was a very well-placed ball, but a tough one thrown into double coverage.
Handoff goes to the running back, and they'll go to Freeman again, and Freeman trying to find his way up the middle of that field for a couple. He'll get to the 40, so he'll get 4. It'll set up a third down now and 6.
Give number 9, Clay Wilkie, the stop on that one. You see with a lot of these Kalamazoo tackles, they're able to find that low spot, get them by the foot, and then when they get them, they do not let them go. So initial contact stopped right there.
Blanzy again in that pistol. Freeman, the running back, picks up the blitz. Ball is thrown to Canfield, who took his eye off of it, and that one was put right where it needed to be. A hit was coming, and he kind of took his eye off the football and looked towards his left as Quentin Sweeney was measuring him up for a stick, and he left the football on the grass.
So wasted opportunity for a first down there. Still 4:37 to play in the first half as the Britons still have a 10-point lead. And the last time Blanzy kicked going this direction, he got it pinned inside the 5-yard line. Let's see if he's able to get another good punt off here.
Dylan Paget waiting for it. Blanzy gets another big leg into this one, and it's going to drive Paget back inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. Took about 2 steps and absolutely got measured up and dropped down by Joe Fullerton. Fullerton said, "I see you coming," wrapped him up, knocked him down, and it will be first down and 10 now for Kalamazoo. 4:27 to play in this opening half.
As Mr. Krabs would say, he got swallowed up.
Yes, he did.
Hey, Jim, the British 8th will perform a review of its fall season at 4 o'clock tomorrow with an indoor concert at Goodrich Chapel. So stay tuned for the British 8th halftime show today. And don't forget to watch them tomorrow at 4 p.m. at the Goodrich Chapel.
So White will lead his football team onto the field again. Alex back at the 15-yard line. He'll send Paget in motion, and then he'll call his own number and try to sneak in between the bodies and get past the line of scrimmage. He'll do just about that. In fact, maybe a short pickup of a yard, if any. They'll say no gain where they're going to mark him down, so it'll be second down and 10.
Look, they were trying to set up a swing pass to Dylan Paget right there on that little bubble screen, but again, I think he's looking off that first receiver and just taking it and running.
White says, "Oh my goodness, Hunter Shaw is right here waiting to wrap me up," and double fours, scoops him up, throws him down at the 15-yard line. It'll be third down now, and this defense today, Jim, has played extremely well. In fact, you really have to credit both defenses. Both sides have been a pretty good, solid afternoon for both defenses so far in the first half.
Much more aggressive Britons front 4, front 6 than we are used to seeing in previous weeks, but I think they sense some mismatch opportunities with the offensive line of Kalamazoo.
Fake the handoff, throw the ball on the little comebacker to Giovanni. And Giovanni is wrapped up after just a short pickup. As he gets back to the 20-yard line, it'll set up 4th down still and 11 as Giovanni gets about 3. Austin Lynn on the tackle for the Britons, and the Britons about to get the football back with 3:11 to go in this opening half. Don't forget, Kalamazoo will get the ball to open up quarter number 3 as they won the coin toss to begin the ball game and deferred to the second half.
Jim, so far, Kalamazoo has not really taken too many shots downfield, so they haven't done anything to put any fear into the Britons to play any more than about 6 yards off the line of scrimmage. As a result, they're throwing short passes, and the defense is right there to make the stop.
Isaiah Gibson waits on this one at the 45-yard line. High snap. The soccer-style kicker or the rugby-style kicker rolls to his right and kicks off another short one. This one gets a decent bounce and will roll into Britain's territory at the 45-yard line. The Brits will have the ball with about 55 yards in front of them in the end zone and 2 minutes and 29 seconds on the clock and all 3 of their timeouts.
And obviously, Jim, you mentioned that that rugby or soccer style, that goalie style kick right there. With a right-footed kicker, he's rolling to his right, which is towards the Kalamazoo sideline. So, we joke about why don't you kick it, where the wind is going towards the Albion sideline. That would be almost physically impossible to
Yeah,
do.
it would be.
He's
yes.
rolling to his right, and then he's going to have to kick across his body. Although he's going to have to kick at 100 yards to go 20. So, I understand exactly what he's doing. But if you had a left-footed rugby-style kicker, he'd probably be getting a pretty good net average going this way.
British 8th will be on the field here shortly, and we will bring you their program here today. We're expecting a good one on Senior Day as Blanzy turns and hands to Zarnecki. And Zarnecki on the delay will have one of the better runs of his afternoon as he'll get about 8 on that first down tote. It'll be first down and short for the Britons.
Be able to see the 2-minute offense run now as we're 2:15 and counting. All 3 timeouts for the Britons. And there's no major rush, but you'd like to see them put points on the board one more time before they head into the half.
Blanzy calls for the football. He'll fake it to Zarnecki this time. Toss it out in the flat to Gibson, and Gibson will get around the corner, but not enough for the first down. He'll be a little bit short, I believe, where they're marking him.
I think they'll mark him for no gain.
Yeah, wow.
You saw the far side official way up towards the first down sticks, but no, he's well short of that. So no gain. Good defense on that play, despite the swing pass by Kalamazoo brings up a 3rd and short at just over 90 seconds to go in the first half.
Brits will go with doubles to the top and the bottom with receivers in both of the slots. Zarnecki, the only running back in the backfield, and they will hand the ball to Pat, and Pat has the first down. Lowers the shoulder across the 45 and gets down to about the 42. Move the sticks, first down and 10 Britons.
And again, no reason to worry about any timeouts. Clock stops momentarily while they reset the chains, but still there's a ton of time left. There's no reason to clock it or to call timeout yet.
Quarterback will roll to his right this time and just throw this one away. Nobody open. He was looking to the top of the football field. Didn't see anything that he liked right there, so Blanzy then rolled to the right. We do have a flag up around the 40-yard line and a conversation now at the middle of the field. Let's see if maybe we had a little interference or holding on the defense.
To think this is either going to be a defensive hold. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I see him pointing in both directions.
Maybe that's the reason that Sam Blanzy couldn't find an open receiver to the top of the football field and had to reverse his course a little bit, but they're about to tell us.
Illegal substitution, defense, 12 men on the field. It's 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, the one thing we didn't think of, adding an extra body, that always helps.
Well, they had the turf monster earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Did the turf monster check in as eligible this time?
First down and 5 now for the Britons. 1 minute and 7 seconds to go in the opening half. They're at the Kalamazoo 36-yard line.
And the defensive penalty means the clock only starts on the snap.
Long throw to Koski down the sideline, off his fingertips, and then knocked away. And I'll tell you, a nice job by Josh Vance to be there. Koski was open, but Vance was right where he needed to be. And as Koski touched that football, Vance gave him a push. There you go.
Just a little bit of hand fighting both ways, and yeah, there was a little bit of contact at the end of that one, but that's you hand fight on every downfield pass, so that's a good no call.
Clock stops. Here comes the blitz. Brits pick it up, throw right across the middle, and we have a flag being thrown right in the middle of that field, which probably is going to be a holding call and an incomplete pass down about 5 yards down the field. That ball was thrown for Tyler Sykes. Sykes couldn't pull it in, but I think either way, this one was going to be coming back because with the way they threw that flag, generally you see a holding call right in the middle of that line.
Yep, they're throwing it anywhere near the line of scrimmage. That's typically going to be an offensive hold. And then it's a case where we have an injured Kalamazoo player down. I just now caught that, Jim. I apologize. Certainly of more importance than what the penalty is.
There's some scores up on the board right now. You got Adrian
Holding.
and
Offense
Almas.
number 64. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
So they elect to take the yardage instead of the down. But as we mentioned, Jim, the injury to the Kalamazoo player did not catch a number, but that's obviously of more significance than whatever penalty is called.
And just before the half, we've got John down there. We've kind of ignored him for a little bit. John, they just put the scores up on the scoreboard there for you. I think, did you telepathically send that up here to the guys up in the booth?
You know, I'm actually.
You're good.
Hello? Yeah,
Yep.
I'm actually a little bit ahead of those scores, I think. I got Hope now up 42-6
Ooh.
over Concordia.
Okay.
I believe it's still, is it, I need to check in, but Trine has added to their lead. I believe it's now 20 nothing. Maybe my telepathy isn't working as well as I thought
Well,
it was.
you know, you'll get a little static every now and then. Even a good cell phone has has its moments, you know. Jacket's trying to get something happening on the top side there, and unfortunately, things not working all that well.
Incomplete pass rolling to his left right there. Bring up a 3rd and long with just under a minute to play.
So John down there now reconnoitering with the universe here, I believe is what they call that, right? I see him down there. He's working on both temples, left and right temple, and he's working to be back with the football gods here as he gets some scores for us before the half.
Is his chakra aligned?
3rd down and about 15 now for the Brits. That penalty really slowed this drive down. 50 seconds left to go in the half. Need a big first down here. Ball thrown in the middle. Oh, I'll tell you what. Somebody's guys got big, and that was Jake Spaklinski, who was seeing that one come his way. Sapinski, 21, saw that ball coming and almost broke on it in time for the interception, but instead he's there to knock the ball away. And it'll be 4th down. The Brits have to kick this away.
Dangerous
Dylan
pass
Paget.
over the middle there, Jim.
That was a dangerous pass. Paget now the receiver back at the 10-yard line, and before the half is over, we'll go back to John again, and it looks like right now you can see he's glowing down there. He's all back in touch with the universe again. Blanzy with a nice high kick, short this time, and Paget will run up and field it at the 19-yard line. That'll be a first down. John, back down to the sideline, big guy. Give us an update on those scores.
Yeah, so like I said, Trine increased their lead to 17-0 at halftime over Olivet. Meanwhile, Adrian is starting to pull away. It is now 28-14 over Alma.
There you go. As we're heading towards the half here, with the Britons up 10-0 over Kalamazoo on the Britons Football Network. And again, we have not had a lot of conversation today on the interweb today, Jimmy, so we need to maybe plug that idea. I've not seen a lot of folks saying hi to us or getting involved with us here this afternoon.
Yeah, drop us a line, webcast@albion.edu. Let us know. That was a nice Aaron Rodgers-esque forward shuttle pass right there for virtually no gain. Yeah, I guess he got about 5. Was he past the line of scrimmage when he did it, though, is my question.
Everybody taking a look at that one right now. I think the officials all agree that everything is legal. The first time out of the afternoon is called by the Hornets. And with 23 ticks on the clock right now, the Hornets will go to the sideline, the Brits as well, to talk things over. And obviously the last thing you want to happen right now, Jim, is for the, there you go.
Please put 30 seconds on the game clock.
Webcast at albion.edu.
There you got it.
There you go. We'll get that one out for you. But I was going to go back to that point, Jim. The last thing as a Briton that you want to happen right now is anything that will allow the Hornets to score here before the half. You've done a pretty good job of really boxing them in all afternoon.
They played a great first half of defense, but you're right. I go back, Jim, to the decision to accept that holding penalty. Would have brought up about a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Instead, they back them up to make it about a 2nd and 14. And the Britons never recovered from that. Ended up being a very wise decision by Kalamazoo. And now they have the ball 2nd and short, coming up on the 30-yard line.
White's going to drop because he has to throw, and this time he throws it over the head of Paget and out of bounds. Decent coverage by the Britons. That would have been enough for the first down and would have stopped the clock as Paget was heading for the sideline. But the Brits will give you 4 or 5 or 6 yards on every down that you want between now and the last 27 ticks of this first half.
But what it also does is it stops the clock, which means now you're at a 3rd down. The Britons haven't had to use a timeout yet. And if they can get a stop here, call timeout, they should get decent field position with at least a couple of chances.
White drops the throw. Here comes the heat. He's got to roll towards his sideline. He's got pressure and pressure deluxe, and this one is just thrown out of bounds. Anerot, the closest person to the sideline, but that ball thrown a good 5 to 6 yards out of bounds, and a good job by White to get rid of that because he had Austin Lynn bearing down on him on the top of that football field.
So you have a 4th and short with 20 seconds to play. And if the wind doesn't look like it's as much a factor as it was before, but he's having to kick from about his 15 to 20 yard line, which means that Britons could get the ball near the 45, 50 yard line with still at least 14 seconds or so to play. As we get another Kalamazoo player coming out at the last minute. Still 10 on the play clock. But they might have a shot to get in field goal range before the end of the half.
Can Isaiah Gibson, the freshman, maybe set us up for a quick score right before the end of the first half? Line drive kick will drive Gibson all the way back inside the 35 and right into the path of the 43, I guess. Was that the number? 47. There you go, Jake Olsen.
Yep.
And Olsen was on the fly down that field, as you can see this replay, as he ducks behind the post there on us here today, and then outside.
That was as perfect as you can get on a special teams tackle, kicking it in a direction where he's running, and he has exposed his weakness, running and upright and at an angle, and then the special teams coverage, excellent in that case with a good open field stick.
Good work by Kenny Reeker here this afternoon as he is working with a couple of indoor cameras that we're not used to on a normal Saturday afternoon. So we're working with a few obstacles here and there and doing a great job with it. Late flag on the field after a 9-yard pickup there on first down by Pat Zarnecki. And we'll just have to see who this is going against. Looks like a holding call against the Brits.
I was hoping maybe a face mask, but I think you're right, Jim. This is back around close to the line of scrimmage, so I suspect this one's coming back. Although if they want to call a face mask, that'd be okay.
We will check some halftime stats here before we head down to the British 8s here today. Get you caught up just a little bit on how this first half went down. But the important part here this afternoon, the Britons on top 10-0 with just 8 seconds left to go in the half.
Offense number 51, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
There you go. So a holding call will probably necessitate the Brits taking a knee here, unless they're just going to air one out and let it go.
Nobody takes a knee anymore. Seems like even with 5 seconds left, if you're in the lead, if you have the ball, you still hand it off, which I don't understand it, but I guess take a shot. Why not, right?
And they're not even going to run a play as they wind the clock and start it.
There you go, even better.
And with that, the Britons will head towards the locker room with a 10-0 lead here over Kalamazoo. And we will take a couple of minutes here to take a look at some first half stats, Jim. And then we'll send you down to the field for the British 8th as they are getting ready to get wound up on their halftime program today. And as senior day, I think a very appropriate day for you to get a good chance to listen to the 8s here this afternoon.
189 yards of total offense for the Brits compared to 64 for Kalamazoo. 134 through the air to 27 for Kalamazoo. That's when most of the offense has been made, 55 to 37 in terms of rushing yards. Significant time of possession advantage for Albion, 16 and change to just over 13 and change. So dominating first half performance, but only a 10-0 score. Sam Blanzy, 18 of 39 for 134 and a touchdown. Freeman leads the rushers, 7 carries for 29 yards. Zarnecki 6 for 20, including that last run that was called back. Blanzy and Colby Canfield each have 4 receptions. Canfield has the touchdown reception of 13 yards. So 44 for Blanzy, 39 for Canfield. Koski does have 5 catches for 36. However, we have not called his number lately. We'll go back up and try to get some quick stats for Kalamazoo. And if we're unable to do that in time, Jim will get a switch down to the British 8th.
With that, why don't we head down to the 8s and we'll pick up the Kalamazoo stats here when we come back after the performance today by the British 8s here on Senior Day.
Is certainly known across all generations. Today, the British 8th will play one song from that film, then just let it be. in each cell and decided to yell, "Let's swing and shout." The whole British 8th was dancing to the Jailhouse Rock. Let's rock, everybody, let's rock. Seniors are the singing jailbirds. Stay for a while to get your kicks, strap on your blue suede shoes, and dance to Jailhouse Rock. Take a few moments to recognize the seniors of the British 8th for their dedication and commitment to this outstanding organization. In just 4 years in the British 8th, these seniors had nearly 400 hours of rehearsal. They have performed 10 different halftime shows, including the one you see today. They have performed the school fight song more than 200 times for literally thousands of football players, parents, students, faculty, and the community. They have done this out of love for marching band and pride in Albion College, and for that, they deserve this recognition today. On behalf of Albion College, Dr. Livingston, Dr. McElhaga, President Ditzler, and the British 8th, we would like to thank these senior band members who are making their final appearance on the football field today. Katie Bonney, Sarah Milosavljevic, I'm very sorry, with her mother Michelle and her husband Nicola. Chris Reedy with his sister Brianna. And Andrew Vinopal and his mother Karen. Ladies and gentlemen, the British 8th graduating class of 2018. Like all things good in the world, it must come to an end. They may have many distractions, no more buzzers and bells, don't see the calendar passing, plays by sense of smell. Wish they could get a replay, but you never see them fall. Those senior band kids sure played a great final show. Here from the 1975 rock musical Tommy, Pinball Wizard. Although the years will pass and it will be harder to remember the songs they played, there is one song they will never forget. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest fight song in the MIAA, Fight On.
And as the British Eights leave the field here to fight on this afternoon, the Britons have done a nice job of fighting this afternoon as they lead the Hornets from Kalamazoo 10-0 here at the half. And before we get to our interviews here with both the coaches, we just end up with a little sheet in our hand, Jimmy. I guess we can go over a couple of the stats that we didn't get for Kalamazoo there early, and then I guess what we'll do is give you a little preview. We'll start with the men's program here this afternoon, and hear from Jody May after Jimmy's done telling you what the Kalamazoo Hornets did in that first half.
For Kalamazoo, Alex White, 5 of 14 for only 27 yards through the air. He also led the rushing attack with 7 carries for 20 yards. C.J. Foster, 3 for 10, and Pittman only 7 for 7. So good job by the defensive front from the Britons to shut him down. Through the air, 2 catches for 12 yards for Foster, 3 other players with a catch apiece. Defense is pretty much where it's been at. 8 total tackles by Frederick, 5 for Moore and 4 for Sipnowski. So, and also 4 for Wilkie. So the defenders that we talked about are making an impact. Problem is the Britons are dominating time of possession. And again, when you have that many tackles, it means you're on the field a whole lot. And the Britons just need to do a better job. More points with the time of possession edge.
No doubt about that. So with that, the basketball season right around the corner. Jody May is a basketball team, his men's team this year has Corey Wheeler and Robert Ryan coming back, both seniors. In the conference this year, Hope was picked number 1, Alba number 2, Calvin number 3. But with that, let's hear from Coach Jody May and his men's basketball program here at Albion.
And really try to build on those things. I think we have a group of core returners. We have a lot of new guys, but we have 5 or 6 guys that played last year and played a lot that are back. We won 5 out of 6 games in February and ended really strong. We went on an overseas trip to France in May. Which was, we had a lot of success there, and really a great trip for our guys. And then, so we want to build on those things this year, and we're talking a lot to our guys about those, how do you build on it, how do you continue to get better every day. And so we're really excited based on, what we did in February last year, what we did in the spring. We've had some seniors in the past, but I don't think we've had the experience that we've had. It is really nice when you don't have to rely on some inexperienced players coming in and playing. And, so that is a positive. This is a really good league that I think the more seniors you have and the more seniors that have played, the better chance you have of winning. So we have a group of seniors and a group of juniors that have played for a number of years now, and it's a core group. Generally speaking, when you have a team like that, a lot of times it leads to some success, and so there's a lot that goes into it, and I keep reminding these guys how hard it is to win, and how difficult our league is. And, so they have a lot of work to do. It's not guaranteed that you're going to win just because of your experience, because it's hard to win. And, if they can get that through their heads, then we have a chance. I think that they, learned that how hard it is to win. And we, games could have gone either way in February, and the ones that we won. I remember being down in multiple games of the ones that we won, late in the second half, and we found a way to win. I think they hopefully learned that things aren't easy, but yet they can win. Well, I think we're going to have more depth in the post, and that's one thing I think through the past 7 or 8 years we might not have had a lot of depth at the 4 and 5 position, and I think that that's going to be helpful. And I think we have some experienced guards for once, and I think we're a little thin in the wing position, and so we're going to have to figure some things out. We've got some guys injured at this time, but but if we get everybody healthy, then I think we have some chance to be pretty good. I try to schedule the best teams. To win our league, we need to beat the best teams, and teams that are very competitive nationally. If there are some glaring weaknesses, we want to know about them before we get into the league.
May's team's picked 5th in the MIAA this year. Coach Doreen Carden is in her 17th year here at Albion, and her team has picked 4th this year. They will start on the 15th at Anderson, and let's hear what Doreen had to say about her team this year.
Ed's going to score a lot more for us, taking over that role more than she did last year. Erin Nelson started for us, a senior. Tara Orban now, is getting a lot of time, a lot of minutes for us as well. So we do have a lot of that experience. We have freshmen that we have to get ready to play. So just to kind of give us more depth, that will definitely help us. And then we have seniors and some juniors that obviously been in the program for a while. They know how to work hard. They get it, so we have to have them hopefully mold a lot of the young kids and kind of offset some of the youth that we'll see on the court at times. Now just like getting some of those young kids to kind of, fill in as well. I think we'll share the ball a lot more as well this year, and there'll be a lot of different kids scoring at different times. We play a lot of the same teams we played last year, so if we can get rolling a little bit in November, because we start league really quick in December, and it's, in the league again, it's not easy. We got Hope, who's the top 25 team, and they're definitely going to be tough, but it's nice to play them at home early. And then we follow up against St. Mary's, Kalamazoo, and Olivet.
So there you go. Basketball will start up for us on the 9th day of December here on the Britain Sports Network. And before we send John back down to the sideline, why don't we pick up John for just a second and talk about some of the halftime scores around the conference, John. Any closer games here at halftime, or did things kind of spread apart since last we talked?
Not really. All the teams I've been talking about have been pulling away. As you know, I said Hope is up over Concordia 42-6. Tryon is blanked Olivet thus far 17-0. And Adrian again is pulling away 35-14 over Alma. So really nothing crazy going on.
Well, you do have a situation now where over the weekend, first part of next week, they will set up the NCAA tournament. And going to get a chance to move on. That's always exciting to get that bid to go that next level, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something special. Not everyone gets to do that on their athletic team. A lot of teams in our conference, we've kind of ruined their chances. So but yeah, it's a special thing to go to the NCAA tournament. You're playing with some real talent, and I think they have ability to do something, in the upcoming playoffs.
Obviously, they're going to pick probably a pretty tough team when they open everything up, but we will know that once the pairings are set here first of next week. And this will be, unfortunately for us, the last week of football here, Jimmy, on the Brit Sports Network. And the kick goes back deep and is taken by Josh Atwell, who gets thumped there at about the 27-yard line.
I think he actually, if I saw right, let me get a number on that, number 82. That would be Ricky Brown. I think his foot actually hit the back of Brown and got him knocked down that way. So bizarre way to start the second half, and what's been an offensively challenged game so far for Kalamazoo. They look to try to put a good drive together here to start the second half.
Little friendly fire there to open up the second half of football. As
he ran into his own guy. There's no question. I mean,
Alex White. Alex White is the quarterback, and he will hand the ball off to Pittman on first down, and Pittman will be upended after a loss of a couple.
Jim, want to say hi to a couple folks. Send us an email. Auntie Amy, Zach Kitka's aunt from Warren, sent a message, wanted to know how her nephew's doing. I'm kind of trying to see if I can see 84 down there. I would assume that left knee's still giving him fits, but hopefully he's able to play in the second half.
White rolls to his left, now goes back to his right on the misdirection to Seth Dexter, and Dexter will have the first down of the second half, as a nice little swing pass to Dexter will come up with about 13, and it'll be first down and 10.
Also, Dick Ritter class.
Did you win? All right.
All right.
That's the important part.
There you go. That's why I wanted to come double check that number. Dick Ritter, class of 66 from Venice, Florida also. They said it's 88 degrees Fahrenheit there.
Oh, man, I wouldn't trade you Dick for anything right now. It's a whopping 30 here this afternoon, as Pittman's still down on the ground after a first down pickup of about a yard.
Injured Kalamazoo player, and that gives me a moment, Jim, to question your sanity here.
You know what? I like the cold. Isn't that terrible? All my friends at this point in time are talking about moving to Arizona or Florida and this and that and the other, and we talk about moving to Michigan out of Ohio. How's that? What kind of craziness is that?
Well, I'm in a 30-year mortgge, so I'm not going anywhere.
You've got a ways to go, don't you, huh?
Yeah.
I've got a few years too, but hey, if I move back up here, I'm closer to the Britons maybe at that point in time. Still can do some football on Saturday afternoon, but I don't know. I don't know that I'd like 88 degrees all year round. But
oh, it's 81, Jim. Jeez,
81.
Don't
I'm
exaggerate.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm my bad. I'm sorry.
Well, folks, while we have a moment,
there you go.
We did have Coach Carden on just a moment ago. I want to let people know that the Albion College women's basketball team's home opener is next Saturday at 2 p.m. tip-off against Defiance College.
There you go.
The Britons also complete the Thanksgiving weekend with a 3 o'clock home game on Sunday, November 26th against Lourdes University. Visit gobrits.com and follow the Britons all season long in basketball. And while we have a moment, Jim, Coach May talked about the men's team. The Albion College men's basketball team's home opener is a 3 p.m. tip on Saturday the 25th with the University of Mount Union. And again, you can visit gobrits.com for all of the men's and women's basketball and the winter sports going on here at Albion College.
And as that was all going on, Jared Pittman was actually picked up and carried off to the side by his teammates. So I would think Jared's day is more than likely done, but you never can tell. Second down now and 9. White drops. Here comes the pressure, and he didn't see it coming. And I'll tell you what, Hunter Shaw got to Alex White just as he was ready to make up his mind to let go of that football. And the motion from the blitz from the backside caused that football to end up way short and out of bounds. It'll be third down now and 9.
Well, they made a movie about Michael Orr, Jim. I think you remember the title of it, The Blind Side. And that's you rely on that left tackle to protect your blind side as a right-handed quarterback, and got no help on that one, got crunched from behind.
C.J. Foster, the running back in the backfield. Here comes the pressure again. White trying to find some room to run. Now he decides to throw. It'll be complete, but it'll be short of the first down. 48-yard line is where they say they will mark that football down. Ethan Kubik was the young man that pulled in the catch. He'll be 2 yards shy of the first down, and the offense from Kalamazoo will stay on the field to try to get this fourth down conversion.
I think anytime you're near midfield for the rest of this game, Kalamazoo, I think, goes for it.
That's the last game of the year. What else you going to do? You got nothing else to play for. White in trouble. Now he floats one up to the running back, and that will be a first down. As C.J. Foster was able to release at the end, and a 3-yard pickup will move the sticks and put the football in Britain's territory at the 48-yard line.
Watch the touch on this pass, Jim. Seemed to float forever, but did its job. Gets past the chains, gets the first down in enemy territory. Good fourth down pickup.
You have to be happy with Alex White the way he's been able to improvise this afternoon. Not that this offense has been all that prolific, but as this first down carry will result in a 1-yard loss. And again, you talk about the size of that running back, C.J. Foster, at 5'6" and 178 pounds. The freshman loses about a yard on first down. But White has been able to improvise pretty well this afternoon and make something out of nothing all afternoon.
Yep.
White
No fear in the pocket either, Jim.
Drops again. Now he has to roll, and he has pressure coming. And this time he'll make the wise decision to throw that one out of bounds as Dallas Reynolds wraps him up and introduces him to the carpet here at Albion.
And again, I'm very impressed with, the fact the pocket's collapsing in almost every play. The Britons getting good push on the defensive front of Kalamazoo, but you're able to see him kind of step up in the pocket, slide to his right, roll out. The pressure doesn't seem to phase him. He knows when to get rid of it. They're going to have to take a shot downfield, though. Kalamazoo is. Otherwise, this is going to be a long second half for them.
3rd down and 11, and White's going to take your suggestion and go right down the center of the football field. Ball thrown just a little bit too far. Rayshawn Robinson with some pretty good coverage. Zach Zagon was the young man that was intended for. And that ball just over his head as Zagon running that little skinny post right up that hash mark at about the 15-yard line.
And White at the end of that play takes a hit and kind of stayed down for a moment, still kind of grabbing his helmet and asking the official not really interested in engaging in a two-way conversation. Just kind of looks at him out of the side of his eye and nods to acknowledge he heard him, but might not necessarily be entirely listening to that part of the conversation.
A.J. Convertino will drop back to kick. And on the other end, Isaiah Gibson will wait for that kick back at the 15-yard line. This ball kicked away from him and short, and it takes a Britons bounce and drops dead at about the 17-yard line. So Brits will have the football. They've got 83 yards in front of them, but the first opportunity here of their second half to put a little distance between themselves and the Hornets. And I guess the first question in everybody's mind is, who's going to be the quarterback here to open up this third quarter? Sam Blanzy controlled the offense the entire first half. I think it's Sam Blanzy
because I see Kyle Thomas, number 2, without a helmet. His hands in his pockets.
There you go. There's the answer to the
I'm
question.
wondering if he isn't still kind of banged up from the last few weeks. We've noticed that he's been hobbled quite a bit. So I'm wondering if maybe he has a hip or leg injury.
That's possible. Right next to him, Doug Freeman, the senior running back, and they will hand the ball off to Freeman. And Freeman runs into opposition right at the 15-yard line, spins, gets to the 16, so back to the line of scrimmage basically. No gain. First down turns to second down, and second down is 10 yards away from that first down stripe.
And for Zach Kitka's aunt, Amy, you'll be pleased to know that he is now lined up on the left side of the offensive line just behind the line of scrimmage. So it looks like that leg injury in the first half. No worse for wear here in half number 2.
Blanzy drops and looks to throw. Got his guy on the cross.
Guess who?
Outside of the first tackle at the 20-yard line. And right there about 3 yards on that pickup. Coming out, it's 81 actually.
Oh, is that 81?
Colby Canfield that came out of that with that football, but you're right. He was right down there in that Kitka was right there with him. Third down now and about 5 for the Brits.
Also want to say hi to Nancy Travis, graduated from Albion in 1969. Nephew is Kalamazoo's quarterback, Alex White. She's watching from Sanibel Island, Florida, poolside. You have to keep rubbing it in by saying that you're poolside or that you're by the ocean or that it's 80 degrees.
There's Canfield again for the first down hookup. I think we're just going to have to start telling stories on our own here, Jimmy.
I was going to say, yeah.
We're sitting here in the hot tub on the third deck of the press box here.
How do we know that they're really poolside?
We need pictures, I think, is what we're having to see.
Yeah.
We asked for documentation from the gentleman out of California a couple of weeks ago.
And he was quick to respond.
Yes, he was. First down and 10 as the Britons open up with their first down of the second half. Blanzy to Blanzy will get another first down as Brian will step out of bounds at the 41.
I think it's fair to question the veracity of that story, Jim.
I think so, too. Sounds really good that you're sitting somewhere in a nice warm spot, but prove it to us. That's right. That's what we're saying right now.
Sanibel Island, sure.
First down and 10. We're just envious right now.
That we are.
Freeman gets the football, and as soon as he touches that ball, there's 2 or 3 Hornets in his way. Fights off a couple, gets a yard. It'll be second down and 9.
Really haven't had a whole lot of Good cutback opportunities on the ground. Have to give the defensive line and especially the fast linebackers for Kalamazoo a lot of credit, playing excellent run defense today. The Britons have been able to do damage through the air, but have not really been able to balance it out with a good ground game.
Second down now and a short 9 for the Britons. Let's see what can happen here. Zarnecki into the football game, and Zarnecki just follows his offensive line to the 45-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 46, so Britons now 5 yards shy of that first down stripe. 9:45 and counting here, quarter number 3.
Zarnecki did about the best thing you can do given his height compared to the offensive line's height. Just kind of got down with a low center of gravity and kind of camouflaged himself with that offensive line to push the pile forward and get as much as he could right there.
Blanzy in the pistol, waiting for the football, drops back. Now he'll run. He's got room. Blocker in front of him, but that
Good
block
tackle.
basically wears out a little bit early. And a nice job to come up and make that hit. I think Josh Vance, 25, that made that hit. But Blanzy will be a couple yards shy of that first down. And the Britons, who had pretty decent field position to get started with everything. Jacob Frederick, our camera ops, are telling me was the person that got that tackle on that one. Fourth down now and a couple for the Brits.
Our spotter, Sam Murphy, told you. That was 31.
That's good to have Sam over there.
Mm-hmm. Able to see those numbers when we're not. Still
Blanzy
can't get the 87 and 81, and now 84 straight. There's too many.
Kicks it to the right sideline. It's fielded down there at the 15, out to about the 19-yard line.
Rodriguez with a belly-to-belly suplex comes up with the ball at the end of that play too, but down by contact.
Paget was the young fellow with the return. The ball sitting on the 19 gives Kalamazoo their second opportunity here in the third quarter. And let's go down to the sideline right now. John's down there. I'm sure he is in touch with the MIAA universe. What's the scores around the conference, Johnny?
Well, the second half just started for all the games, so surprisingly nothing has happened so far, but I did hear something interesting down here. As you saw, Thomas was warming up, and one of the coaches said, Thomas, you got next one. So it looks like he will be getting in the next drive.
Okay. Very good. Interesting situation. So opening drive for Kalamazoo is an incompleted pass. And second down now and 10.
So
that little disjointed down there.
Yeah, the unpredictable nature of Division III football, Jim. You think that Thomas might be banged up, and we've seen these games. We've seen him take a lot of shots, especially on, I believe it was that right hip. And you wonder if he might want a week off or need a week off at the end of the season. But now he's coming in.
White with the pump fake, but there's nobody open, so he'll come back to his secondary receiver. Hooks up with Zach Zagon for about 4. Well, in fact, he stepped forward for that extra yard or so. So instead of getting 4, he got 2 forward, coming back to the line of scrimmage.
Comeback route that came back too far.
Yeah,
he came all the way back on that comeback route.
Third down now and 8 for the Hornets. 8:17 to play third quarter. White drops. Here comes the heat. Looking for a place to go, gets around a couple of the defenders and then throws one at the feet of the receiver. It'll be fourth down now and 8.
And now I've had a clarification from that last emailer. Graduated in 73, was a freshman in 69. The story's unraveling, Jim.
Yeah, I think, we're really
unraveling.
Now we're really needing pictures. There's just no doubt about that.
I don't think there's any question now. Oh, we got a picture from Dick Ritter. I'm nervous to click this, but I'm going to trust you, Mr. Ritter. Let's see what we have.
Oh, look at that. That's just about the same view that we've got right there. There it is. It's up on the screen right now.
Yep.
So that's about the same view, Dick, that we've got, as we look across at the pool side here on the Loge level here at Albion College. Kick will be low and a roller. And no Britons will be around it. I guess, okay, you called our bluff, and that one looks pretty nice. Here we go. Maybe we got a second one coming our way here,
this
too.
This one's coming from Nancy Travis.
Okay, so Nancy
who claims to be poolside at Sanibel Island. We'll see. I'm skeptical.
You call us out, and we get to look at that. Here we go. Oh,
that looks like the same pool.
Yeah, that I think she just stole Dick Ritter's
picture. Did you just
picture.
throw that in the Google machine?
I like it. Look at that.
Mr. Ritter's in Venice, Florida. Nancy's in Sanibel Island, Florida. We appreciate you tuning in down in the Sunshine State.
Oh, yeah, and we're envious. How's that? That's why we're saying what we're saying at this point in time.
Hopefully you have a happy holiday wherever you are. especially you lucky folks down in Florida there.
First down and 10 now for the Britons. Handoff again comes to Freeman.
Got
He's
some
got room
yardage,
up
friend.
the home sideline. A major stiff arm at the 45-yard line, but they're going to say he stepped out at the 46 before that stiff arm.
Well, even if he steps out before that stiff arm, just to be able to give that stiff arm out at the end of that run and take on those tacklers, that's a great way to finish that run.
25 yards on this carry. You see Freeman get down here. You see him step.
Get out of my way.
Yeah,
Like it.
Cut that out. He says, I want to go up there for a touchdown. Senior year. Like to see Freeman get in the end zone here yet this afternoon. Zarnecki now with the draw play for 4. And all of a sudden now this offensive line starting to control things, and the Britons able to ground a few yards up on the ground right now.
And it makes you wonder, now that you have a more mobile quarterback in the game, how does that change how the defense is going to play the run for Kalamazoo, knowing that Thomas is more fleet of foot and able to get outside the tackles?
So Thomas has Zarnecki to his left and doubles on the top and the bottom. 2nd down and 6 for the Britons. He'll hand the ball off to Zarnecki, and again, wide open spaces for Pat. He'll have a first down to the 32-yard line.
This is the exact kind of drive that the Britons need right here, Jim. Plenty of yards on the ground. Kind of wear down that defensive front, dominate the time of possession. Before you know it, this third quarter could be over, and it could be 17-0 Britons. So nice, steady drive.
First down and 10 Brits. Deep into Kalamazoo territory here in their second drive of the third quarter, and they're going to show and go on this one. And we do have a late flag coming in.
Yeah, you have to. Even if the feet got tangled right there, that's too much contact.
That was Sykes who was trying to release at about the 15-yard line and head up that football field. As you watch it right here, let's see if we can catch the infraction. As the ball goes down the field,
I think
and
he just
Sykes
got the feet tangled, but still, it's too much. If it's incidental, that's one thing, but when you get the feet tangled and you down to the ground, I think that's an obvious pass interference call, but I think that's what they're discussing. One thing I will say about the officials, Jim, is they are deliberate in their calls. They want to make sure they get them right.
Yes, they have been, and they've allowed them to play some football this afternoon as well.
That's
on
true.
both
Not
sides.
a whole lot of penalties called.
And that's always a nice situation as well.
Maybe they're picking this one up.
Pass interference.
Yep.
Defense, number 25. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Little John with the sideline, I think, down there too, Jim. As you saw a nice roar from that contingent of Britain's players.
7.
Okay.
I like your kicks. Do you remember that earlier in the season? The official saying that to one of the players. Hey, I think it was Blanzy, right?
Yeah, it's exactly.
I like your kicks. I just remembered that when I heard the hot mic there.
So the Britons will have a first down. Football will rest at the 22-yard line of the Hornets.
That's a highlight we have to keep for the reel.
6.5 minutes to play third quarter, and the Britons trying to stretch a 10-0 lead. Handoff goes to Zarnecki. He'll cut back and be inside the 15-yard line, about the 14-yard line. So give him 3, maybe 4 on that one.
It's really been an all-run drive. And the yardage in the last play, of course, a pass play, but not a completion, just a penalty. So other than penalty, really everything they've gotten, I believe, on this drive has been on the ground.
Good to see. And, you know, in this game, if you can get that extra touchdown on the board and grind that clock the way that we are, the ideal is this afternoon to end up with a win. As Thomas fakes and calls his own number, he says, I've been sitting on that sideline a little too long this afternoon. And Thomas will work his way to about the 12-yard line.
They didn't let him spin out. Kept trying to string that one out to his left right there. See, good open field tackles. Not letting him get too far. Finally cleaned up at the end of that play by 31 Frederick.
Kyle
They don't
Thomas,
miss a lot of tackles, Jim.
No,
Those
they
linebackers.
don't. They've done a nice job this afternoon. Thomas came into the game with 366 yards of rushing on 90 attempts. He's got 1 here this afternoon. Thomas now looks to the other sideline. He's got his guy at the goal line.
Got
it's
it.
complete. Is it a touchdown? Yes,
sir.
it is. Tyler Sykes, I believe, 83 with the football.
Yep.
There you go. Look at this. Looking up on the top side.
Rolling. Uncorks it just before he gets hit. Puts it in the corner of the end zone where only his guy can get it. That was
Ooh,
close.
I'll
I
tell
think
you
that
what.
lead foot was out of bounds. But
I think if we were on ABC here this afternoon and they looked at your video again, I'm not sure Sykes got that foot in.
well, all we have to just do is wave our hands and say, nothing to see here, touchdown.
16-0 with the extra point for Fabry through the uprights, make it 17. And the Britons on top with 5:13 to go here in the third quarter.
I'm interested to see if there are any Brit graduates in Hawaii.
Hey, there you go. If you're from Hawaii right now, on either side, let us know you're out there. Here's the throw again. Here's the catch.
Maybe watch the
There's
right,
Sykes.
see if the right foot is down. Right foot is
Yep,
down.
there you go.
It looked like looked like he was bobbled.
Yeah, that was a close one.
Yep.
Tough call down there at the corner.
There's no tap backs.
Not at all. He had the ball. He ended up with the ball.
Yep, and they've already kicked the extra point, so it's too late.
So the Britons stretch the lead now to 17-0 as they will kick this football back to the Hornets.
Ken Reeker just kind of winked and nodded at me to let me know that one was good.
There you go. That's the important part.
I trust Ken.
Keegan Rickman will be the young guy at the top of your screen, 20.
Not a whole lot of wind at this point in the day, too. Pretty calm day out there.
C.J. Foster right in front of us, and they will kick the ball towards Foster, who will field at the 12, right up the middle of the football field. And in fact, that's 14. Josh Atwell, not 24. Atwell, 14, out to the 27, 28-yard line. First down and 10 now, Kalamazoo.
I think Rodriguez on the tackle. And, folks, for those of you already planning for holiday events, the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and the City of Albion will bring back the Albion Aglow Parade Friday, December 1st. And the Albion College Music Department presents its annual Lessons and Carols series at 7 o'clock Sunday, December 3 inside Goodrich Chapel. Goodrich Chapel. Also, don't forget 4 o'clock tomorrow, the British Eighth will perform their fall review. So a lot of good stuff happening.
Alex White will drop the pass, and he's in a lot of trouble. 41 is Jacob Wickens. He got there first, but he had some help after that. Wickens drops him for a loss all the way back to the 21-yard line.
Offensive line definitely not doing the running game and the passing game any favors. You're seeing way too many Britons in the backfield before the quarterback's even through his 3 or 5 step drop.
Mark it at the 20. It's a loss of 9. Second down and 19, and here comes the pressure again. And this one way over everybody's head as Ray Sean goes up in the air to maybe pull that one down. A nice little, nice little article on Ray Robinson, up on the GoBrits.com webpage this week. If you didn't get a chance to read that one and watch that one, see that one, it's worth your time. What a wonderful young guy, and a lot of things that he's been part of and been through. It really gives you a whole new insight to a college football player on a Saturday afternoon. Pass will be late, will be caught at the 31, and a late flag might be a roughing call against the Brits. And
that'll be against Rodriguez.
A 4th down and about 8 is about to turn into a 1st and 10 here for the Hornets.
Watch the finish. Rodriguez in the middle of the screen right here. Knows where this one's going. Already out of bounds. Gives him the shove. Didn't mean to, but did enough. And once he is out of bounds, you have to protect the player. Late flag, and even if you didn't see who made the infraction, you see the hands go up at the end.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense, number 35, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
So that'll keep this drive alive for the Hornets.
Gonna put them up near midfield.
Yeah, and best field position they've had for quite a while, as the Britons defense has done a nice job of keeping them pinned back deep in their territory here in quarter number 3.
So Rodriguez, definitely an aggressive player on defense right there. One step too late.
White swings this one out to 24, C.J. Foster, and Foster will get a couple before he's wrapped up and dropped right before that midfield stripe. Coming all the way across the field, Jacob Wickens, actually, from his right linebacker spot, came up and made that tackle for just a short gain. 4:03 to play and counting. Third quarter, Brits up 17 to nothing here now over the Hornets from Kalamazoo. White drops and he'll run. Finds a couple blocks and then just gets submarine and steamrollered from the top. The bottom took the legs out. The top took the shoulders out, and the pickup was a decent one, but it's 3rd down now and 4.
Watch the finish on this run. Getting hit high right there. Lucky there was no targeting penalty called. Again, that was Rodriguez on the stop, Jim.
Rodriguez, number 3 in tackles here in the conference, and he's been perennially at the very top of that statistic for his entire 5 years. This will be a 1st down catch for Giovanni. Giovanni almost made that fatal mistake of running back in front of those sticks as he had the 1st down.
And he's still running.
And then he ran backwards by a couple, and now he's in the end zone. But
Jenny's going to have to tell Forrest that play's dead right there. Officials blew that one dead already.
So 1st down and 10 with the ball on the 42-yard line. And the Hornets trying to make this a football game right now with 3 minutes left to go in the quarter. And the Brits, did they jump offside or were they brought offside?
Yeah, I think Sean Kubit-Miller jumped into the neutral zone right there. We saw that happen in the 1st quarter where they were trying to anticipate the snap count. A little too aggressive on the defensive
Offside.
front.
Defense, number 94, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
So 1st down and 5 now for the Hornets, and they are using penalties here to continue this drive. The big personal foul that kept the drive alive.
Kubit-Miller thought they were getting ready to do a quick snap, but like you see most teams do, they line up to snap, and then they turn around and look at the coach again. So fortunately there, no 12th man on the field.
White rolls and throws into the flat. He's got his guy. That's Giovanni, and Giovanni steps out of bounds past the stick, so that'll be 1st down now for the Hornets again as the ball's at the 29.
Nice drive here, aided by that 15-yard penalty that would have brought up a 4th down punt situation. Instead, we're at the 2:30 mark of quarter number 3, and now Kalamazoo with a 1st down closing in on the red area.
Foster is the running back to the right of White. You've got triples up to the top and a single here at the bottom. Number 4 is Giovanni, and he's been the young guy that's been the most active on this drive. Now they switch sides as Foster to the left now of White. He drops, he throws down the sideline. Giovanni again, but good coverage. Stride for stride down at the 5-yard line. And that is Michael Harvey, who had a nice job there. No real spot for that ball to be thrown to, and White did a good job of getting it even close.
Yep, and I think that was a case where you know you have that good tight coverage. You put it in the vicinity of the receiver, but really that was just as much a throwaway as anything else.
Hornets field goal kicker Kearns is long of 35 this year. As you think about this 2nd down play, and this one a little bit too high over Zagon's head, and it'll be a 3rd down now and 10, so they're going to have to get about that 1st down marker just to make this a field goal that would be at least reasonable even to think to consider, Jim. But down 17-0, I wonder if you'd forego field goals this early anyway.
Well, this far out, I think you're looking 4-down territory. I don't know that they can really afford to settle for a field goal down 3 scores. I mean, yeah, you know, a 3 and 2 sevens and all that, but they haven't had any opportunity. This is the best field position I believe they've had so far today.
Again, Foster to the left of White and the quarterback. 3rd down, 10 yards to go, and Foster retreats a little more. Now he's going to have to throw this one away. So 3rd down turns to 4th down, and a nice job by Dallas Reynolds.
And now you have to go for it, even though it's 4th and 10. It's too far to try a field goal. I think you're kind of kicking into the wind a little bit going this direction. And, you know, you can't punt the ball from the 29-yard line.
This would be about a 47-yarder, so about 12 yards more than what he's even made this year, so they're not going to even think about it. White brings the offense back onto the football field, and he'll drop straight back and look for somebody open. Throwing to the left sideline, and we've got a flag, and I think Harvey's going to be called for a hold or a grab.
Hold, yep.
Down around the 20-yard line, and another bailout here for the Britons defense.
Yep, defensive holding, I believe, is a 5-yard penalty, but it's an automatic 1st down.
Holding, defense number 7, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic 1st down.
My apologies, 5 in the pros, 10 in college, but 1st down either way is now, this is Kalamazoo's first trip into the red zone at the 151 mark. Remaining in quarter number 3, they trail 17-0.
And the one thing that you really don't want to do, you've got a Kalamazoo team that won its first game last week. You have them pretty much where you want them, and then you've aided their drive with 3 penalties here so far. As the pitch goes to Foster, he goes around the corner.
Well, you're letting them hang around is what's happening.
Foster gets 7, yes.
You're
they
letting
sure
them hang.
are.
The penalties have allowed drives to be sustained so far. The Britons haven't paid for it, but this is by far Kalamazoo's best field position.
White gets away from the rush and is able to kind of underhand that one away and up the field and out of bounds for an incompletion.
Yep, and he's outside the tackle area, which is why it's not a grounding penalty.
What a job by White to be able to get rid of that football. It was Hunter Shaw that had a hold of him, was spinning him around. He was able to shake free just long enough to realize he could throw that ball up the field and get rid of it.
This one will definitely take the incompletion. You are in great field position. You don't want to go back 5-6 yards to bring up a 3rd and 8. You'd rather have a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4.
Alex White, again, a senior. So the young fellow who's played 4 years here in the MIAA, getting his money's worth on his final Saturday, and he throws this one high and over everybody's head through the back of the end zone as he was getting nailed by Dallas Reynolds again.
And Reynolds at the end of that play plants the quarterback in the turf, turns around and looks cautiously at the official, probably for what felt like an eternity, and then sees no flag and then helps him up. Because, I mean, the way this drive has gone, everything that can go wrong has gone wrong penalty-wise for the Britons. So in this case, they're going to try a field goal as the kicker looks like looked like somebody was coming off, taking a jacket off like a relief pitcher.
Greg Kearns.
That would have been interesting. Did you catch that, Jim?
I did.
Had a player with a jacket running onto the field.
Yeah, basically, Dylan Padgett is the holder most of the time from what we've seen, and White will hold this time. Kearns knocks it through the uprights, and just like that, it's a 17-3 game with 1:24 to play.
Yep, you did need the 3, you know, still a 2-possession game, but you have to start somewhere as Kalamazoo, and by far their best drive of the day, aided by a few first down penalties. You know, got them 3 points on the board.
Down to the sideline, John, how about some updates there? Everybody's getting close to the end of the 3rd quarter, I would think. What's the rest of the league look like?
Yeah, Adrian continues to pour it on over Alma. It is now 49-21, and trying still not. I mean, they've shut out Olivet so far, 20-0, but not as explosive as we've seen here.
No doubt about that. You kind of wonder maybe if they've got some of their starters on the bench here at this point in time. Everything's locked up. Even if they lose, I don't know that they change much in the way of position or ranking or anything else, John, so it might be a possibility as well. All right, Kalamazoo to kick this off after a lengthy drive, aided by 4 penalties that I remember. A couple of them on 4th down that keep things moving, and
2 automatic first down penalties on that drive. Allowed that drive to sustain. Now it's 23 and change to 20 and change time of possession as that sustained drive by Kalamazoo draws them a little closer at 17-3.
Brits have Ray Robinson down here on our side, and Zarnecki will field it at the 7. Cuts back towards the visitors' sideline and gets tripped up at the 21.
Good open field tackle right there by Jake Osen, 47.
Boy, we've called his name an awful lot this afternoon too, Jim.
Freshman doing some really good things on special teams.
And as you said, I think I've been more impressed just by the way that they tackle. There's not many Britons who have gotten loose today, stepped out of tackles. Boy, once they engage you, they wrap you, and you're not going much farther.
Yep. The linebackers especially, tremendous linebacking core, and that's why, you know, when you look at the tackles for the season, you see those 3 players head and shoulders above everybody else, 100, 80, 90, and 70, and then it goes down to, you know, 30 for the next player. So their linebacking core, defense and special teams, really making an impact.
Thomas has Freeman in the backfield with him. Right in front of us is Sykes. And let's see if they'll go to the air or try to control this game on the ground again. Throw a little bit behind Tyler Sykes at the 32-yard line. He tried to make that adjustment but couldn't pull it in.
And that's the difference between left-handed quarterback and right-handed quarterback. He's going back shoulder, which is forcing him to do a 180 right there in his pattern. and reach back with that left arm. That's would have been an impossible one-handed catch.
Second down here and 10 for the Brits. The clock stops with 1:15 to play in quarter number 3. Britons really could use a good solid drive here to put this one on ice. Handoff delay goes to Freeman. He'll reverse his ground. Thomas gets a block on the corner, and Freeman gets around the end close to the 28-yard line. Actually went out at the 30, but they had stepped out at the 28. And so the gain will be about 5, and it'll set up 3rd down and 5. And I'll tell you what, the little fella, Kyle Thomas, able to set that edge there for Freeman that time, Jim.
If nothing else, you just get in the way.
That's all you need to do.
And that's all you had to do, yep.
43 seconds to go. He's actually put his shoulder down and made a block.
Yep. Earned the respect of the running back, I bet, for sure.
Here comes the blitz. At least they're showing it, and they do bring it. Ball goes underneath to Freeman, but it's a little too hot and a little too high. If that ball would have floated a little more, Freeman with an easy catch and maybe some decent yardage afterwards, but the pressure coming right in Kyle Thomas's face caused him to throw that one on a line drive. It goes incomplete, and the ball will go back to Kalamazoo with still 31 seconds left to go in quarter number 3.
But look at what we have, Jim. A quick 3 and out with the clock stopped, 31 seconds to play, and Kalamazoo will get the ball again with what could be decent field position. Still in quarter number 3, only down 2 scores. They should get at least 3 more possessions.
Dexter waiting for the kick. Blanzy with a pretty good one. This one's a shorter one that will hit at the 39-yard line and then take a Kalamazoo bounce to the 42, where the Britons will down it. But, boy, I'll tell you, Blanzy, who has just been booming them all day, has a bit of a short kick on that effort, and the ball will be in great field position now for Kalamazoo.
So again, I want to invite everyone who's watching, send us a line at webcast@albion.edu. Let us know which poolside you're sitting at in Florida.
And one of these days we will take a selfie here and show you the hot tub that we do these games out of on top of the roof here with our camera ops. And unlike our camera ops, we're still sitting up here because we're tough guys here on a Saturday afternoon, aren't we, Jim, huh? If it wasn't a family-friendly show, we'd take this picture and show it to you. Oh, the completion close to midfield, and look at this. Zagon pulls in the reception. They'll say he's down at the 47-yard line. Give him about 5, but you can just see this Kalamazoo offense with a little confidence, don't they, huh?
Yep. Every play is a positive play right now. The defense was getting a good push before as we go under 10 seconds to go. But all of a sudden now they've got their timing down. Kalamazoo doing much better on offense.
No Jared Pittman here, who's went out with a leg injury here earlier, and with that the third quarter will come to an end. So we've got 000s on the clock here in Albion, and the Britons up 17-3, as we're going to give this to Kenny real quick.
When I first read about the Flint water crisis, I started thinking, I think I know this story. It seems like something I'd read before, and I thought it's got to be an old play. I think I read a play in drama school, and so sure enough I went back and found this Ibsen play, and it's uncanny, the parallels, that there is a doctor, Dr. Mark Edwards from Virginia Tech, who was the man who originally was the whistleblower on the crisis in Flint, and to see the parallels between the way he was treated and the way that Dr. Stockman is treated in the fictional play written 135 years earlier was just chilling. When I got the job at Albion, I said, this is something that we have to do, and I knew that it would resonate, obviously because we're literally in the shadow of Flint here, but also we have students in the production that are from Flint, and while we feel it across the country, I think nowhere more than Michigan is this story more close to home and more relevant. We feel a real responsibility to get the story right, and I see the students working with a deeper conviction than they ever have before, because it's not just telling a story well, it's doing right by the people who have suffered at the hands of the tragedy. And it's also a really polarized time in our country, and what's happening politically and culturally is also eerily reflected in this 1880s play. It's prophetic in the way that we seem to be living through the things that Ibsen was talking about 135 years ago. He was forecasting the coming of fake news and the discounting of educated experts in favor of trusting your gut. So there's so many places that he took a stand on that are almost impossibly relevant to what we're living through today.
And we're back here at Kalamazoo with an incompleted pass on first down. Second down throw out of bounds. It'll be third down now and 10. A very interesting production coming up with Albion. We're trying to get that in. We ran out of time a little bit at halftime, so we thought we could sneak it in there in between quarters.
Just goes to show, Jim, that with all the reads that Bobby Lee provides me with and the video packages we have going on between basketball season, theater, music, a lot of stuff going on at Albion College. A lot of reasons to stick around for the holidays. There are going to be some great things happening as we approach holiday season. And again, we want to wish everyone a happy holiday season coming up. Thanksgiving in a couple weeks. Then before you know, it'll be Christmas time.
Third down, and White's running for his life, and he's going to have to get rid of this football in an area where nobody with a white shirt is standing around. The Britons all wanting an intentional grounding
I think he was outside
call,
the tackle.
But there really was no opportunity there, because you are right. He was outside the tackle box. There was nobody down here to throw it to, but he was just got the ball past the line of scrimmage and out of bounds. That'll be fourth down now and 10. And the Britons defense with a nice job when they needed it here to open up this fourth quarter.
And I think the way the late third quarter had gone for the Britons on defense, the last thing I want to do is encourage the official to throw a flag.
Yeah.
Because they all seem to go against Albion College there to keep drives alive on third and long. So let's just encourage the official to leave the hanky in the pocket and go for a punt on fourth down.
Isaiah Gibson waiting for this kick. They showed signs maybe of faking it, and then they do kick the ball, and it does take a Kalamazoo bounce, and it's going to be down around the goal line, about the 1 yard line.
Good coverage right there.
There we go. Look at this. All right, you showed us where you're at. Here's where we are. How's that,
now
Jimmy?
You just told them we were in a hot tub a little bit ago. And
well,
the hot tub's right outside the door.
There's Drea standing right in front of us, one of our camera operators. Jimmy giving you the high signs, and I'm standing there like, you're taking my picture? Oh, that's not right.
I'm the village idiot in the middle there.
So there you go. You showed us yours, we're showing us ours this time. How's that? So we went back and forth with that one. 14-13 to play in this football game. Britons on top, 17-3.
Dangerous field position right here in a two-score game, Jim.
Thomas in the end zone will turn and hand the ball to Zarnecki, and Zarnecki looked like he had a hole, but it closed up pretty quick, but Pat gets to about the 3.
He sidesteps one tackle right there, Jim. He has maybe one safety to beat, and instead, again, sure-handed tackles by the linebacking core. Frederick gets a good open field tackle to keep Zarnecki from breaking it open. 2-yard gain, though, still in danger.
Brits would like to pick up a couple of first downs right now. That would be a win, I think, from here. Ball goes across the middle to Blanzy, and boy, it sure looked like Blanzy was being held from behind.
Yeah, grabbed his right arm there before the pass got there.
Instead, though, third down now and 8 for the Britons.
And friendly fire at the end of that play knocks number 21, Sipnowski, down. He's a little slow to get up at the end of that one.
Kalamazoo defense hoping to hold right here and get their offense some decent field position. Brits need to get a first down here and take the air out of their balloon just a little bit. 13-40 to play in the ball game. Thomas in his end zone scrambling now. He has people coming. Gets rid of the ball. Almost caught out of the 25-yard line.
Official taking his hat off, which to me would mean that
Canfield,
somebody went out of bounds and came back in. But
I think that's what happened. Was Canfield was the intended receiver. We'll watch it here on the replay. Did he step out of bounds, or will we get a chance to be able to see it here?
Dangerously close to a safety right there.
Throws that one up. Boy, what a job of trying to pull that one in by the freshman.
If he was the one who went out of bounds, that would have been an illegal touching penalty. You can't go out and be the first one to touch it coming back in, but instead, 4th and long, kicking from his heels, dug in at the back of the end zone.
Good snap. Sam Blanzy gets into this one, but it's a short one. And it will take a Britton's bounce before it kicks out of bounds
With the
right up
42.
here in front of the Britton's bench. And they will say the 42-yard line. Great eyes, Jim. First down and 10 now, Kalamazoo.
So Kalamazoo unable to make the Britons pay, at least on that immediate possession with that good stop on special teams. But now they have really good starting field position with still a lot of football left to play. 13:25 to play in quarter number 4. It's still just a 2-possession game, 17-3.
So the Britons defense now needs to kind of dig in and get nasty and stop this Kalamazoo football team that is looking for its 2nd win of the season here in the final game of the year. And the handoff goes to the running back, C.J. Foster, and Foster finds out how difficult it is to try to cut back against this Britton's defense on this final Saturday of the season. And he's on the ground now as well. Back up. There you go. There's Sam, Andrea, and Kenny. There's the brains of the whole operation there, just kind of
And for once, I'm not doing something stupid on
photo
the camera.
bombing there from the corner.
Probably because I didn't
about for
know
an
somebody
injured
was
player?
taking a picture.
So we're sending our photos to you, and if you're out there still in the last 13 minutes and want to send us some more photos, please feel free to share.
It just doesn't quite look the same as poolside, though,
Yeah,
does it?
not quite the same. Brits have some heat on White, so he runs 40-yard line, maybe the 39, but it'll be 3rd down now and about 8. As nobody was open downfield as Alex White was trying to get that ball ahead. Gave him a couple. 3rd down now and 8. Big 3rd down for the Britons. A big sack here would do wonders for this Britons defense. White going to drop. Has time, now he runs out of it as he steps into this pass. It is caught by Zagon, but he's out of bounds.
Forced out. Never got the feet down. 15 of 39 now. Watch this hit at the end. Going low. Thankfully, no injury on that one. You see him climb the ladder, but comes down out of bounds.
I think he came down with a football, though. It was a nice catch and a real nice throw by White to be able to get it on the number like that.
Under serious duress.
And you have to wonder, they're going to play this field position game with 12:35 to play in this ball game.
There's a lot of football left to play.
4th down and 8, they'll send the punting unit on. Now you do have to worry a little bit about a fake here.
Yeah, the last couple times, as you've mentioned, Jim, he's doing that rugby-style kick rolling to his right, and he hasn't been in a hurry to kick the ball, so I'd stay home on this one.
There comes the kick. It's a low one. It'll bounce and then take a back bounce at about the 15-yard line.
Much better starting field position here. I know that's probably what they were trying to do this time as well. Kick a line drive and see if perhaps they hit one of the Britons running downfield with his back to the ball. So good starting field position, unable to hit it off the foot of one of the Britons' special teamers.
So the Britons have the football and a chance to close this one out. A nice, long, time-consuming drive. Are you a little surprised the last time we started to throw the football a little bit more, because that first series that we came out and just ate up the clock and just pounded that football down the field for a touchdown? It surprised me a little we didn't come back out with that running state of mind.
Well, I think that last drive you're backed up inside the 1-yard line. You kind of have to put it up, especially since you're running the pistol. You're 4 yards behind the line. That means you're 3 yards deep in the end zone when you're handing it off. That's a risky proposition.
Elverson Mitchell is the running back in the backfield, and they'll hand it off to him. And a nice job again by Kalamazoo to cut that run short. About a yard.
Frederick.
And Jacob Frederick, the junior.
I think he has to have at least 10, 12 tackles today.
Playing a real nice game this afternoon. In fact, that Kalamazoo defense all the way around doing a nice job. Pickup of about 2 there for the Britons. 12 minutes to play here in the ball game. Thomas going to throw this one. He's got it to Blanzy, and Blanzy will be close to the 25-yard line, which will make him close to the first down marker but about a yard short.
Jacob Frederick now 14 tackles, 9 unassisted or solo tackles. So,
Man,
I mean,
they played
he
well.
doesn't miss.
No, they really have done a nice job this afternoon.
When he gets a hand on, forward progress is usually stopped at that point.
Again, a relatively young football team that's had another tough season here at Kalamazoo, and the Britons hoping to keep them in that same spot.
Uh-oh.
Mitchell, 40, 50. Does he have the afterburners to get there? 30-yard line, 29-yard line. Nice job by the Britons to run that one all the way into Kalamazoo territory. Look at this, a little delay.
Well, it was the blitz, Jim. Blitz coming off the right-hand side for Kalamazoo. Because you were so committed to rushing the quarterback there, you left yourself wide open for a nice cutback run, and the only thing that kept that young man into the end zone was the speed of the defense to catch up to him.
Clayton Meldrum, the senior, actually ran him down from behind. Thomas going to hang on to this one. Back to the line of scrimmage, +1. And the clock continues to roll with 11 now to play in this ball game.
I just don't see why you would be in any great hurry from this point forward to snap the ball. I know the Britons run. The offense is the offense, but I think you can slow it down just a touch.
Gibson's in the slot at the top. Canfield is the wide receiver on that side, so a couple of youngsters up on the top of this football field. Mitchell with the delay handoff, and he has no place to go as there's white jerseys all around him. 56, the young fellow on the tackle, that's Nick Williams. And it will be 3rd down now and about 10 as the Brits now take their time as Thomas ties his shoe. 28 seconds on this play clock, so I would not be opposed to let that run down to 3 or 4 seconds from this point on at every play that you take.
To check in with John here in a minute as John's getting perilously close to the huddle there down there. I like it.
He's calling some plays, I think.
The inside edge.
Thomas decides to run, looking for a block, gets one, 25, and then drilled out of bounds at about the 23. And this will bring up an interesting conversation.
Go for it.
3rd down and a couple. You'll have about a 40-yard field goal attempt if you set it right there.
I go for it here.
And they appear to be leaving that offense on the football field right now.
If nothing else, try to draw them off sides and burn a timeout.
4th down and about 3 for the Brits. Mitchell goes to the right now of Thomas, who lines in that pistol. Will Thomas call his own number? At 3-4, look again at those very active linebackers. No, he'll throw this ball on the crossing route to Moore, and that one skips to Marlon Moore. And the ball now will go over on downs to Kalamazoo, and that ball really, if you've got one real problem, you've got to at least give your receiver a chance. That ball didn't get there from Kyle Thomas as he grossly underthrew that one. So the freshman has a few things that he's got to work on in the postseason, and I think that's one of them. One of the things we've seen is just exactly
arm strength,
that.
Yep. And again, you look game by game. Season long, I think it's safe to say that Thomas had a really good freshman season. But today, quarterback play-wise, Blanzy, I think, has outplayed Thomas.
So it's
Stronger
first down
arm
and
today.
10. White drops back. Now he's going to just take a seat because he realized there was no room and no way out of the little jail that the Britons had formed for him. And I think the good job today of the Britons of not over-pursuing. They've made that push off the line of scrimmage, Jim, and then they've basically just walled White in and not allowed him to go anywhere. And Alex White on the season had done a pretty nice job of running the
Gotta
football.
call that one, yep. As we have a record number of flags being thrown in.
Everybody got in on that one.
This will be number 66, Travis Coop, on the false start. And Nancy
False
Travis
start.
sends us another
Offense number
email,
66.
Ken. Says
5-yard penalty.
why we have pool
Second
cages. Oh, look at that.
Oh, man, there you go.
Is that might be, is that a gator, you suppose, or probably a gator? Or I don't
Or
think
a
it's a
croc.
croc, yeah.
One of the two, man.
That's just a baby, though, right, Nancy?
Either way, I don't want that in my front yard when I go out to get the paper on a Sunday morning. How's that?
Nope.
2nd down now in a bunch for Kalamazoo. White drops. Now he proceed into his end zone. Is he going to go down? He throws it away. I'll tell you what, are they going to call grounding on that one? Nope.
Got past the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Line of scrimmage was at the 12-yard line, and he was outside the tackle box.
Here he comes. Did you see the heat?
Tackle box is at about mid-stripe right there, and you can see he's well outside the far hash. In the grasp, doesn't matter. Gets it past the line of scrimmage, and he's outside the tackle box. So you'd like to get a safety there just because, you know, the defense, that's a definite feather in the cap, but good scramble ability to get rid of that one.
Joe Fullerton was the young man putting on all the pressure that time. Third down and a whole bunch. White throws across the middle. He's got his guy. That'll be well short of the first down. C.J. Foster out to the 17-yard line. And it'll set up fourth down and still about 16 for Kalamazoo.
Nancy's going to have to send us a follow-up email now and show us a picture of her catching the crocodile.
Out there wrestling that crocodile in the front yard. That'll be the next thing.
And you call, what's that guy, Ken? Billy the Exterminator from A&E.
There you go.
He's going to go out and catch it with one hand tied behind his back.
Gibson stands at midfield waiting for this punt. And the kick will be another one of those low ones. And this will be a short kick that does take a Kalamazoo bounce and will skip across the 45-yard line and will be down to the 48. So the Britons with another nice short field position here for their offense to come out and just see what happens. John, down on the sideline, how about the scores from around the conference, buddy?
Well, Hope has absolutely destroyed Concordia, Wisconsin. It is now 70-6 late in the fourth quarter. Adrian again pulling away 56-21 over Alma, and Trine is looking to close it up. I believe it's still 28-0 over Olivet.
There you go. So that's the rest of the conference here on a Saturday afternoon, week number 10, actually number 11 if you want to just count the number of weeks, but this is the last one for everybody but the Trine Thunder, and they will move on into the NCAA tournament as the MIAA champs this year. And congratulations to them. Handoff again to Mitchell, and Mitchell comes around this left corner, gets around 20. In fact, that's not Mitchell. That's the senior here, Freeman, and Freeman almost cashed that one in. As you see the delay to Freeman, and they changed back from Mitchell to Freeman this time.
Good seal block on the outside by Blanzy. And he gets past that tackler. The normally sure-handed tackling Kalamazoo squad, they finally were able to break well, I guess that's the second nice run here in the fourth quarter. That one almost went to the house.
And now Freeman, the senior, back in there to the left. They'll hand that ball again. And this time he'll get tripped up in the backfield for a loss of about a yard. 31 is Jacob Frederick again. And again, we've called that number over and over again.
20 tackles. I believe that's 15 or 16. Incredible day.
Second down and 11 now as Freeman will lose one on that carry. 7:17 to play in the ball game.
So I believe that'll be 15 tackles and 10 solo. Great effort today.
There's a young man that'll get a little bit of rest on the
Wide
bus
open.
on the way home. Easy pitch and catch to the left corner. That's Canfield. And a nice fake here initially.
All set up by the run. Everybody bit. And you figure you're trying to run the clock out at that point. So, you know, you ask, well, why do you throw in a situation like that? Well, you throw when the defense completely buys into the run and you leave the wide receiver. It's not like you're going to say, well, I know you're wide open, but I'm not going to throw you the ball because I just want to run the clock out.
In fact, I think that was 83 Sykes with that touchdown instead. He's everybody's patting Tyler on the head. Tyler Sykes, a senior, and that was 83. Catching that number in the corner.
Remind everybody again, Albion's Student Athlete Advisory Committee hosts its annual Winter Carnival from 4 to 8 p.m. inside the Dow Rec Center. The event features games, inflatables, crafts, prizes, and food for families. Monetary donations, new unwrapped toys, or clothing and non-perishable food items will be accepted for distribution in the community. So contact Melissa Walton in the athletic department at 629-0593 for more information. Go Brits.
24-3, Sykes with the catch. And the extra point was good, so the Britons now up again by 3 full touchdowns with 7 minutes to go in this season.
I'm sorry to get worried about Nancy. That was, I think, a 200-foot croc.
Yeah, that was
You're
a
going to
big
need
one.
to let us know you're okay. That was as big as, I think, a car.
Ball kicked to Regman, who
Fumble.
can't hang on to it. Picks it up at the 12.
Ooh.
Across the 15 to about the 16 is where his run will end.
Unceremoniously, too.
And again, you know who's down there. Jose Rodriguez, one of the guys that are down there, and joined also with Zach Kitka. So Kitka and Rodriguez making that tackle. And now with 7 minutes exactly to play in this ball game. Kalamazoo obviously just had a rough afternoon. They've hung in there. Their defense has played extremely well, but field position finally caught up with them as the Brits able to capitalize on that short field.
This will, with a victory today, will push the Brits to 4-6 at the season's conclusion, and definitely something to build upon for next year.
Release pattern to number 20, Rickman. And Rickman has about 7, and we have somebody down in the middle of the field again, one of the offensive linemen, I believe, this time.
That looks like an old lineman grabbing the lower back. Don't want to speculate.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
Maybe we'll check in with John down on the sideline. And John, that last touchdown had to make the team feel pretty good. It was a little dicey there for a moment with a 2-score game, but this touchdown, I think, pretty well puts it away.
Yeah, it was a little tight, but as you can see, they're pretty content and no longer nervous, just kind of chatting it up and realizing that this will be a good win for them, but their season is now over.
So the seniors going out with what appears to be a victory as there's 6:42 to play in quarter number 4. The Britons comfortably up 24-3 on Kalamazoo. Game's certainly not final yet, but that last touchdown, I think, Jim, gives them a little bit of breathing room.
You want to talk about a game that's kind of in the bag right now. They just announced on the PA Michigan State getting beat by Ohio State today, 48-3. So tough afternoon for the green and white.
So you're saying there's a chance.
As Dexter pulls in the pass for the first down out around the 28-yard line. But yeah, Michigan State having a rough afternoon there in Buckeye land after the Buckeyes really got spanked in Iowa last week.
Well, D1 game of the week. Iowa State, Oklahoma State tied at 42 with just over 5 to play in the fourth quarter. Clemson, Florida State just kicked off. We'll get you some more scores here momentarily.
White drops and hits Zagon at the sideline.
Stanford upsets number 9 Washington 30-22. Number 23 North Carolina State defeats Boston College on the road 17-14. 48-3 is that final. Ohio State wins. Penn State, similar victory, 35-6 over Rutgers, and number 24 LSU all over Arkansas 33-10.
Zagon stayed in bounds on that last play, so the play clock or the game clock continues to roll, and the screen pass will get ahead forward. That's 24, I think, Foster.
One more update to upset, I should say, to give you in Division I football. FCS, I believe it's called. Georgia Tech upsets number 17 Virginia Tech 28-22. So the Hokies will probably drop out of the top 20 for sure, if not the top 25.
First down and 10. Give me a 30 for Jimmy if you got him for Kalamazoo somewhere, as he has the football again after that first down catch.
Jared Pittman, number 30, sophomore.
Up 34, though. 34.
34.
Pittman, who went out
and 30. Hunter Roberts, the freshman out of White Lake.
Hunter Roberts, 34, now replaced by 24 C.J. Foster. And he's about the same size. Those two young fellas, both of them at about 5'6", 5'7". White rolls towards his right, looking for some room.
Yeah, this one's definitely coming back. Sean Kubit-Miller was tackled by number 58, Hunter Angelari, the that can't be right. He's listed as a defensive lineman. Oh, offensive lineman. Okay, I was looking at the wrong line there, but yeah, 58 Angelari on the tackle on the block.
Spot of the foul was right around the 40-yard line. A holding call, and I believe the
Holding, offense, number 58, 10-yard penalty, previous spot, replay, second down.
There you go. So the ball will be marched off of the original line of scrimmage, which is the 48. Takes it back to the 36.
Is it
46
possible
to the 36?
Is it possible to elect for a 4-minute runoff
Yeah, there you go.
instead of a 10-yard penalty?
4 minutes and 50 seconds, and the clock is moving as Dexter goes in motion. White drops straight back. Here comes the heat again. Boy, he's seen an awful lot of that today.
Yeah, just
I got to
get rid
believe
of it.
Alex White's going to be seeing purple jerseys coming at him in his sleep here tonight.
And he's going to be able to see him coming from the blind side, too, because that's where a lot of his pressure has been. As he's scrambling to his right, you have usually either a D lineman or a linebacker just bearing down.
Malik Bozell was the young guy that was putting on the pressure that time. But you're right, Jimmy. It's been just about anybody on the front of that defensive line here this afternoon has made their presence known in the backfield. White has some time this time. He throws, and Zagon almost makes an acrobatic catch. He kept looking for the next guy to hit him, and the ball kept bouncing up in the air as we watch this replay here. Watch this one here. As Zagon goes up, he sees somebody coming. Oh, let me bounce it here. Oh.
Almost got it. You got it. I got it. Nobody got it.
Let's put that on the ground and get away from everybody right now. 4:39 to play in the ball game. Fourth down and a whole bunch.
And Mr. Ritter sent us a picture of looked to be a big fish, but I didn't see an attachment in that email. Did you see it, Kenny? So if I don't see a picture, Mr. Ritter, it doesn't exist. I'm sorry, but it says a 6-pound bass.
Oh, wow.
I'm skeptical. I don't know.
That's a big bass, man. For all of us in Michigan here, we're impressed by that one.
Doesn't compare to the 30-foot alligator or crocodile we just saw.
Gibson with the catch, looking to make something electric happen here at the 32-yard line. Boy, he got around one more guy, and he was on his way up the field. But Jack Weir, 46, was the young man that made the tackle, and now everybody's getting a little heated on the sideline.
Official reminding them where their sideline is and encouraging them to go there as quickly as possible. And with 4:29 to play at this point, you don't need it. You just need to get to the sideline, start the drive, run the clock, shake hands, and enjoy senior day with a victory.
Got to believe that it's a little frustrating if you're a Hornet at this point in time.
Yep.
Got that win last week. We're in this game off and on here. And then just in the last couple of minutes, watch it really slip between your fingers to the point where you really can't recover it at all. And they're starting to get a little frustrated down on that football field, and might see a little more of that before it's all over and done with.
I imagine, though, Jim, and I don't know him personally by any means, but if you're going to see a skirmish, it's not going to be with the linebackers Kalamazoo has. I get the feeling that those are just some good hard-nosed football players, good steady tacklers, but not interested really in mixing it up.
Thomas will work out of the pistol again. And he'll fake the ball to Zarnecki and throw it up to the top of the screen, and a very small pickup by Swinburne.
And again, that defense, Jim, they just do not miss tackles very often.
Brant Swinburne, 25, had played quite a bit in the first half, now back out on the football field for the Britons. Zarnecki, the running back. Swinburne comes in motion. They'll pitch it to him. Jet sweep, got some room, midfield.
Buddy. Stay in bounds.
Into Hornets territory, and then he puts on the brakes and steps out at the 40.
Watch this run. Good sweep. Near hold right there, not called at the line. And then it's just good downfield blocking and good speed. Again, you're going now 3-4 deep with your running backs. You have fresh legs out there going 100%.
First down and 10, Britons. Will they add to their score here before this is all over and done with? Fake the ball, throw it up the middle to Blanzy. 15, 12-yard line for Brian Blanzy. So the big fella pulls it in. And just like that, you're in the red zone.
Good play action there. Blanzy catches it about the 18 and then drags his defender all the way down to the 11. Blanzy, a big target right there and tough to bring down.
Next year is going to be an interesting year for this offense because you have so many guys that are coming back that with another year of experience. And you got to believe Brian Blanzy in his senior year is going to be interesting. See what happens here. Handoff, Mitchell, 10-yard line to the 8. Elverson Mitchell with a couple. And at the 7-yard line now, 8-yard line, and they move it back to about the 8.5.
Coach Elon Williams from Redford says, loving the pressure you're getting, number 94, Sean Kubit Miller. Good to see, good to hear from you, Coach. Thanks for checking in. And Coach, Mr. Ritter says, hope the pick came this time, Kenny. I don't know if you. Ken says he saw the picture. I don't see an attachment on mine, but.
Thomas rolls to his right, and he'll run into some real serious trouble on that corner, as that was Nick Williams that leveled him.
A little shaken up, Jim.
Thomas going to hobble his way back to the center of the football field. And Blanzy, Sam Blanzy will come in for him. There you go. Oh, there you go. Look at that one, huh? Yeah, that's a big fish for even Michigan standards right there, I'd say. Huh? What do you think? Wow.
I love these webcasts. Get these emails.
Congrats,
somebody's
man.
Fishing or somebody's sitting by the ocean.
2 thumbs up on that one, I got to tell you.
How cool, though, Jim, is it that with webcast technology.
I got a big fish up here in the scoreboard for you, too.
That one's bigger than the one we had.
Oh, the whole
little early.
Press box wants a little bit of an interference call on that one, but
I think the British Apes down there wanted a flag, too.
Not going to go along with it, and that'll set up a 4th down now and 10 for the Britons.
So at this point, I think you go for this one, too, and not because you're trying to run up the score, but just because what good does a field goal do you?
$1:55 to play in the ball game. Sam Blanzy stays on at quarterback. Kyle Thomas exited after getting injured just a little bit there on that sack.
I'm still nervous about Nancy.
Mitchell will be the running back to his left. There's doubles on the top and the bottom. And they will throw. Blanzy looks. Now he's going to run. And he'll be wrapped up at the 10 and dropped at about the 9. And the ball will go over on downs to Kalamazoo with 1:49 to play in this season. And the Britons up by 21, 24-3.
Ken, can you do a wellness check on Nancy for us down in Florida? Can you do a wellness check in Sanibel Island, Florida for Nancy? That was at least a 35-foot alligator.
And we were worried that maybe.
It was as big as an RV. It really was.
We're worried about your safety, Nancy.
It was like a transformer. The wheels were tucked in underneath its hips and everything.
24-3 here. Kalamazoo with Alex White at the controls, and he'll turn and hand to 34 again. Out across the 27 to about the 28-yard line comes
Hunter Roberts.
Hunter Roberts.
Freshman getting some good yardage here, Jim.
So Roberts to the 27-yard line. And with 1:37 to play here. Kalamazoo looking maybe to end this season with another running play to Roberts. So Roberts gets a couple, and the clock's down to 1:20 to play in this ball game.
And I'm thankful, Jim, that the chippiness that you saw a few plays ago has not continued. Too close to the end of this game and the end of the season. I get it's been a frustrating season, but there's no need to get chippy at this point.
White will throw this one up on top and over the head and out of bounds. His intended receiver, 13, and we don't have a 13 either, so there's a lot of new faces on both sides of the ball
Number
now.
13 is Brett Lehman.
So Brett Lehman, the intended receiver, that ball over Lehman's head and out of bounds.
See, you have like a 2 or a 3 deep. That's why I always go and just print the entire roster.
Attaboy. That's why I bring you
I've
along.
learned from my 7 or 8 years doing these that there's always going to be a name that really there's.
Yeah, it's D3 football. Hunter Shaw with the tackle. And we have flags everywhere as John comes up from the sideline. Johnny, a little chilly down there today? And when the sun went down, everything kind of got cold, didn't it?
When the sun went down, everything kind of went to crap down there.
Well, I'm glad you came up, man. We'd hate to have to come down and try to chip you off of the sideline there somehow.
Well, now that you're back up, you can do a wellness check in Sanibel Island for Nancy. It was at least a 60-foot alligator.
Yeah, that darn gator was big now, I'll tell you.
Yep.
There are probably no pets around that neighborhood, I would think, with a gator that big.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 39. That's his first unsportsmanlike of the game. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the penalty gives the ball to the Kalamazoo Hornets with a first down as it moves it all the way back up to the 37-yard line. And Kalamazoo has been very intent on just running this clock out, so I would be surprised if they're going to throw this thing again. There you go. Did you get confirmation, Jim?
Nancy sent us a message back and said, "I'm okay." Alligators are frequent visitors here. Well, don't let them try to sublet.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're going to squat on your property, make sure you're either calling the authorities or you're charging them rent for it.
That's exactly. You ought to get a little money out of that big gator, I would think.
Hey, they're collecting real estate tax from you, property tax, so the least you can do is get some of it back from somebody who's going to try to stay in your property for too long.
39 seconds left in this football game. White in the pistol again, and he fakes the ball to Roberts and throws, and a nice completion out around the 43-yard line. And that is 84, Jimmy, and you're going to dig again a little bit deeper.
For 84 is Matt Ryder, the senior wideout.
There you go. So third down at about 5. Clock at 20 seconds, and that could have been the last play, but now
Probably
Kalamazoo.
run one more and then shake hands and head back to Kazoo.
They have not started the play clock right now, so we're down to 7 seconds, 5 seconds. Up, they will
Might as well
throw
put this
one
one
more.
up.
And across the middle of the football field, incomplete. Britain's put the big hit on, but forgot to wrap up Reichman.
Yep.
And
Good job spinning out of that tackle right there. Good tough run.
last play of the ball game was a good one, the last play of the season for us here on the Britain Sports Network. As Albion wins this one this afternoon, 24-3. They end up at 4-6 on the season. And we'll do a quick look through the stats and wrap things up here for the year. Don't forget we will be doing basketball starting on the 9th of December, as we will have a doubleheader with the men and the women. Stay tuned for more information about that one, but I think it's a 3 o'clock and a 5 o'clock game on Saturday, December the 9th. Will be our next visit here on the Britain Sports Network, as we will open up some basketball coverage for the 2017-2018 basketball season. Jimmy, what does it look like, buddy?
Hunter Roberts leads the team in carries, 3 carries for only 20 yards. So you can see how long a day it was for Kalamazoo on the ground. Alex White, 22 of 51 for 135 through the air. 5 catches for C.J. Foster for 23 yards. However, Seth Dexter has 4 catches for 35 for the leading yards. Rickman has 2 for 23. Giovanni 3 for 20. And Zagon 3 for 14. As Kalamazoo is only able to put 3 points on the board today in the loss. And bear with us as we momentarily go to try to get the Brit stats. And while we're doing that, we want to remind you to go to twitter.com/GoBrits or online at GoBrits.com to get all the final pieces of fall sports information, as Jim mentioned, we get ready for the 2018-2019 winter sports season. We'll get the Britain statistics here momentarily. Sam Blanzy, 21 of 43, 159 and a touchdown. Kyle Thomas, 5 of 10 for 60 yards and 2 scores. Doug Freeman leads the rushing attack, 13 carries for 95 yards. Elverson Mitchell, 5 for 57. And Pat Zarnecki, 11 for 44. Swinneman also had a 26-yard carry as well through the air. 7 catches for Blanzy for 90 yards. Colby Canfield, 6 for 53 and a touch. Tyler Sykes, 2 for 25 and 2 scores. Koski had those 5 catches early in the first quarter. Never caught another pass in the game, Jim.
I'll be darned.
5 catches for 36. It looked like he was on his way to 20 receptions. However, they switched ends, and they never really went back to him after that. So dominating performance by the Brits, and they come up big today. Total offense, 446 to 187, and that was pretty much all. Actually, that was a pretty even distribution, Jim. 219 through the air, and 227 on the ground. So a really good balanced attack. 31 and change to 28 and change time of possession. And pretty dominating performance by Albion College.
Well, good afternoon for the Britons as they wrap up the year on a victory, and you always like that. John, how about some finals from around the area, man? I don't think there's any surprises who the winners are, but why don't you make it official? How's that?
Yeah, everything ended the way we thought it would. Adrian finished up 56-21 over Almas, a nice win there. Trine finished 28-6, and you made a good point. They probably did have a lot of their second string in the second half. And then Hope thumped Concordia 70-6.
Ouch. Oh, boy, I'll tell you. You never like going down in that fashion ever, but that is the way that it all went down. John, thank you for your help this year. Good luck in the upcoming season that will be coming up here for you guys, and we wish you well. How's that? Bring
Thanks.
back another championship, okay?
Oh, we'll do. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you for all your great work. Jimmy, why don't we wrap things up and get the heck out of here today? How's that sound?
I want to thank the crew one more time. Yours truly, Jim Bellamy, with Jim Funderburg and John Bolello doing the announcing. Ken Reeker, the producer extraordinaire today. Nick Reeker, Samantha Murphy, and Drea Hill doing the camera work and the computer work. And for Albion College, as always, want to thank the Director of Athletics, Matt Arend, and the Sports Information Director, Bobby Lee. This game was a production of Richard Productions and FJ Productions. And one more time, folks, thank you so much for tuning in around the country and around the world watching Britons football. We appreciate you tuning in to all the contests. I invite you to go to gobrits.com or follow them on Twitter, twitter.com/gobrits. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend and a great holiday season, everybody.